YouTube, sasportstar.com. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Cowboys star pass rusher Micah Parsons took to X today to confirm that he will be at mandatory minicamps next week, despite being in contract negotiations with the organization. He did add, though, that even though the contract is not done, it's in the owner's hands. Cowboys start their mandatory minicamp next Tuesday. Women's College World Series gets underway tonight. Battle of Texas. Texas taking on Texas Tech. First pitch set for 7 o'clock.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
And it's Wednesday, which means it's hump day.
Hump day.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. And how could you not? Best day of the week. Hump day.
Hump day.
I'm Joe Reinagel, Jason Minix, James Pledger. We're all here. The gang's all together on this hump day in San Antonio.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I got to say, started laughing a little bit because I just saw a tweet that's probably one of those that will go viral. The Colorado Rockies won again. You know, there was a tweet on Sunday that wins since whatever, Scotty Scheffler 3, and I think the Rockies none or whatever it was. Maybe they had 3, whatever it was. So they've had a good series in front of 4 fans down in Miami. So they just tweeted out, win since June 2nd. Colorado Rockies 3, Scotty Scheffler 0. Well played by the social team for the Rockies that are looking to get creative.
Well, they need to do something to entertain their fans because their baseball team's not doing it. Fortunately for them, they're playing another crappy team.
I mean, honestly, it looks like they're celebrating, but this could be practice. This could be warm-ups. There is nobody in the stands at the end of this down in Miami. There's somebody as that photographer. I don't know. It's insane how few people are at these games.
Well, if you like baseball, that'd be the place to go. You buy one of the worst tickets that they have and move down front.
You wonder if the ushers stop you. Let me see your ticket. That ain't your ticket.
I don't know why they would. That'd be kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's funny. Back in the day, we used to get, when I was in the shipyard in Philadelphia, summer of 92 maybe, you used to get dollar tickets to Phillies games. And they were always upper deck, but after the third inning, you could move down wherever you want. And there were times we'd be right behind home plate or as close to home plate as you could get.
Yeah.
For a dollar ticket through MWR, them days. But if you tried to go there in the second inning, even though nobody was sitting there, they wouldn't let you.
I tried to do that in Seattle one time. There for the Spurs Sonics playoff series. I had a night off, went over to the Mariners game, and bought an outfield ticket. I mean, like way in the outfield, right? It was like $10.
Yep.
Tried to move, and they kicked me out every time. Every time. So I finally stopped and just sat up there in the concourse, watched it on the monitor, and drank beer.
You know, sometimes you wonder, although when you see good seats and they're empty, you just feel like somebody needs to go sit in.
Right.
You know, sometimes you wonder at some of these games, don't they look around and say, hey, you guys up there, come on down. Right? Make it look full in the lower parts of the stadium.
I would do that if I'm Colorado or Florida or whoever. I think they're playing in Florida, right?
Yeah.
So
they could put everybody there in one section and still have a seat between everybody.
They need those curtains like they have in the Alamo Dome, right?
Uh-huh.
And you put them up there when people aren't up in the upper deck.
Or the COVID days with cardboard fans.
Exactly right. Something like that. It's sad, but, you know, I mean, I don't know. The Florida Marlins are just they've always been a clown show.
Yeah, except for when they won World Series.
Well, they won a World Series.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. They spend money, they don't spend money. They're up and down. I don't know. I mean, it's bizarre, but when you're winning, people go watch.
Yeah.
When you're not winning, People have other things they're going to do. And I can imagine how much that sucks over people. Let's take the San Antonio Brahmas, for example. They got a great, hardworking staff. But this year they had 4 home games. And they were on the road for, 4? And then came home, and they weren't very good. Congrats, go sell tickets. Get people excited to come. But I mean, I think they averaged 10, 12,000 people, second in the league behind St. Louis.
That's not bad.
Is, a hat tip to them. But if the team was good, the number could have been double that.
Well, of course it would have been. That's what San Antonio does.
That's what everybody does.
Well, true, but San Antonio in particular. I mean, this is a front-running town in a lot of ways. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but yeah, this town is a front-running team. Town.
I think you could say that about most. I mean, very few places sell out when teams suck. You look right now, if UTSA baseball was playing at home, that 1,000 capacity field that they play in would be oversold. You'd have people tailgating. That team's been good all year, but I don't know how many games they came close to capacity.
Well, that team wouldn't be playing at that particular stadium because the NCAA wouldn't allow it.
Well, there's that.
So I don't know where they would be playing, to be quite honest with you. But, yeah, wherever they would be playing, they'd have a big crowd. It'd be fantastic. So
you look at the Spurs, the amount of games that weren't sold out the last 7 years.
It's been a lot. There have been a lot of empty seats. By the way, Lisa Campos, the athletic director for UTSA, is going to join us at 5:15. We'll obviously have some questions for her that hopefully we'll have a good answer to.
Lots to talk about with the athletic director. Obviously, their move to Nike is a big one. Baseball team, a lot of talk about a new stadium, new facilities. Where's that coming from? And, what's the latest on the whole NIL, profit sharing, all of that. So, and what the rules were 2 days ago might be different today. So hopefully we learn something from Lisa Campos when she joins us at 5:15. We also expect to learn something about old Project Marvel. There's a meeting going on right now. Is it not going on? Pledge is waving me off like I'm trying to steal third.
Well, it's supposed to start at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
But apparently that hasn't happened yet. So
all right. We're keeping an eye on it.
We are keeping an eye on it. We'll talk about that because they're supposed to give us some details about how they're going to pay for this. And I was told this morning from a friend of mine at the gym that they're going to lay out what taxpayers are responsible for, which he said is going to be very minimal. And most of it is going to come from private equity.
It's going to be interesting to see. And again, they're trying to get this thing on the ballot for November. Will they be successful in that? And then, of course, once it's on the ballot, will people want to vote for it? Today, we're going to get a good idea of the initial reaction. And granted, there's already people, they don't know any kind of detail yet, but they're against it. They're against it.
Of course they are.
If there's $1 out of public money, they're against it. Even if it's 100% privately funded, there are going to be people against it. There could be a new museum or library. And then there's people that are going to be for it regardless. But most of the taxes are on the tourist, which go travel anywhere. That's what pays for everything.
And they're already in place. It would be nothing new from this is what he said. So we'll get all the details whenever this little meeting. And my understanding is this is not a typical city council meeting. It's just for this. It's for them. And was also told by a very good source that once the mayoral election is over with, the Spurs are going to come out with a campaign. So we'll see if that happens or not. But we shall see. But they are waiting until, which is on Saturday, by the way. We'll know who our new mayor is. And after that happens, then apparently the Spurs will kick in with a PR campaign of their own.
Kind of interesting they didn't start a PR campaign before to try to sway the vote.
Well, it could be. I don't know. Maybe they want to get into the politics of everything. I'm not sure, but
they already are.
Well, unfortunately for them, that's where they got to be, right? Yeah. You're depending on a lot of these politicians and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward, and I hope this thing gets started because once it does, I'm sure we'll get updates via Twitter, X, whatever you're calling it, and so we can pass that along to you. So we'll wait and see. Coming up, we were going to talk about Project Marvel. We can still do that. We can talk a little UTSA baseball. But in the meantime, the Dallas Cowboys are conducting OTAs. And Micah Parsons took to the social medias today. And he's got a message for old Mr. Jones, the old guy that's in charge of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk about Micah, the Cowboys, all things Cowboys, when we return here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Big cash giveaway, yeah. $250,000, yes. The next 10 months, GimmeTheVin.com is giving back. Everyone that sells us their car gets put in the drawing, and monthly we're pulling out $25,000 and giving it to you. So not only are we the top of the market buyer, but you got a chance to win $25,000. That's what we mean by big cash giveaway. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call us America's best car buyer for nothing.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. 'Cause I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Looking for a place with character, cold drinks, and real Texas charm? Pull up a chair at the Lion and Rose in the Dominion. This local favorite, run by the Tharp family, serves up Southern hospitality, military pride, and seriously good food. Happy hour daily from 3 till 7 p.m. with $2.50 drafts, select wine, wells, and mimosas. Plus, tasty bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Now open at 23330 West I-10. The Lion and Rose.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen.
And this is Sarah Beth.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you. Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I feel like it's Christmas in June. Wow, the boss was just in here with gifts. I love that when Morgan walks in here. She's got gifts to give us. Although
I'm curious what you're going to do with that. Now that you're a bona fide Texas Ranger fan.
I'm not a bona fide Ranger fan.
She brought you a new Ranger shirt.
Well, it's a hoodie. It's a blue hoodie, which is actually cardinal blue, to be honest with you. And the Rangers logo is really kind of hard to see. But there's got to be a Ranger fan. Maybe a Christmas gift I just gave somebody.
Yeah?
Boy, that's ugly.
You don't like these Ranger jerseys?
Not at all. Did you see that? If you're watching on YouTube,
it's a hoodie jersey.
You can.
Yeah.
All right. You can see what Minix has there. It's a Rangers hoodie. Pledge has got this.
That's not bad looking.
Which I like too. It's short sleeve, which is not bad.
A short sleeve hoodie, which makes no damn sense. None. It makes no sense.
No, you're right. It does not. But
that's more of it's light. It looks more like a T-shirt hoodie.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. But I don't know. You want it?
Just throw it down there. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not going to wear that.
I'm not going to wear it.
I mean, you got a whole jersey that you haven't figured out what you're going to do with.
I don't know what Maggie did with that thing. And she went out of town on business, and I got to find out when she gets home tonight.
It's probably in a room in the house that you don't go to often called the laundry room.
Well, no, I go there quite a bit, as a matter of fact. But I don't know where it is. I need to find it because I found both Cardinal jerseys. So I have to find it. I don't know what happened to it.
Threw it away?
Nah, she didn't do that.
Not wearing this again?
She didn't. But she will. And she loved her gift from the Texas Rangers. She thought it was great.
Mm-hmm. So the Project Marvel meeting officially underway. Are we all able to dip in and just listen live what's going on? Can we do that real quick? Just so people know they are actually having a meeting. It is underway.
The needs that we would need to put in place to support these anchors and this district. The magnitude, the scale, and the complexity of these projects within the district certainly make it more challenging, and with that, that's why we're going to have to phase and sequence this work out. Again, I think if we were talking about doing any one of these projects by itself, that would be challenging enough. We're going to try to do a bunch of them at the same time.
All right, I don't know who is speaking.
This slide and this matrix you have seen
but they're showing
before.
slides
A
now.
little bit of time on it. There have been
And
some
Pledge just put something on our screen that's got such small print that even with the magnifying glass, I don't know that I'd be able to read it.
Well, it says proposed funding sources for early phases of district projects. I'm assuming one of those is Project Marvel.
Yes.
The first is our city hot.
I can't read the
well, that's it. I can
small
read the
print.
headline, but how it all breaks down, I have no idea. But as we learn more, and we do have a source there that's supposed to be telling us what's going on as it happens, but they're presenting it. In fact, once they explain everything, do their interviews, Matt Roy from News 4 is scheduled to jump on with us to kind of give us the lowdown of what he learned today.
Outstanding, because I mean it's a big deal. At least we're getting some transparency finally, and I'm happy to see that. So we know where the money's going to come from, how it's going to be spent, and all of that, so everybody can make an informed decision. But this is something I wish they would have started a little earlier, but it's okay. They're doing it now. And again, as I said, I got from a reliable source, Spurs will start after the election of the San Antonio city mayor. So. We'll see if that starts next week.
Well, and again, if let's face it, once they put this information out, and I can only imagine the amount of work that has gone into getting to this point. You know, the practice meetings that I'm sure they have had with the questions that come up so they have the answers for it. But once they put this out to the public, you're going to have city council members, you're going to have county commissioners, and you're going to have taxpayers that are all going to have questions, and they're all going to have their various input and ideas. So they come rock solid with a not fluid plan. This is our plan. This is how we are going to do it. But they have to have their answers ready to go. So just imagine the work that goes into a presentation like what they're doing today, and then the follow-up with everybody questioning it and picking it apart left and right.
Well, yeah, depending on how you feel and how you think you're representing your district, right? But look, the city manager is all for this project.
Yep.
I mean, he's the guy that's kind of spearheading all of this stuff. So this is the first step, just to show people how they are planning on paying for all of this stuff. So couldn't come sooner as far as I'm concerned.
And as we, it's live radio. It's 2:20 in the afternoon, 14 seconds. When you look at this meeting going on now, it is live streamed. Pledge is paying attention to it. Pledge, when they start getting in the numbers, just tell us so we can kind of listen into that part of it. Now, granted, I realize I'm asking you, when you start to understand, like, this sounds like the good part, and we're going to that, I realize what I'm asking.
It's all numbers.
Yeah, I think somebody needs to just step up there and say, this is that, and this is going here, and we want that over there, and
The
this
Cliff's
is here.
Notes versions.
Yes.
Can I just get the Cliff's Notes version?
In English, please.
Dude, it's complicated math. How are we going to know?
I have no idea.
I kid. It's almost like trying to figure out NBA salaries, right? There's all kinds of reports out about, are the Suns going to lower the asking price for one Kevin Durant? And San Antonio is in that mix, and there's different reports out there. 4 to 6 different teams could be interested in Kevin Durant. And I imagine a lot of fan bases would be mixed on bringing in Kevin Durant and the $50 million a year salary that he has. We were trying to figure out numbers earlier. I'm glad I don't do that job for a living.
No kidding. I'd have a headache if I did that for a living. By the way, the Suns just hired Cavs assistant Jordan Ott as their new head coach. Now, I've never heard of this guy. I have no clue. But it seems to be the trend in the NBA this year to hire first-timers or no-namers. I mean, Mitch Johnson's taken over for a legend in Greg Popovich. And so a lot of teams are doing it this way.
Now, you look at Ott, what I find interesting, started his career as a video dude under Coach Bud in Atlanta. He's a Michigan guy, and apparently that's part of the requirements to work for the new Suns owner. You got to have ties to Michigan State. You got to be a Michigan man, and he checks that box. But you're right. He was a Cavs assistant. The other Cavs assistant apparently is the leading candidate for the New York Knicks job, which is surprising when you think about all the big names that could be available to the New York Knicks. But yeah, that's the trend, which I find ironic because we all hate the old retreads. And then when everybody is new, you go, what is everybody doing? These guys have no experience.
No experience. And those other guys had no experience at one time too, right? Still kind of dumb that they, I think, fired Tom Thibodeau since he was the most successful coach they've had in a while. But they did. And so it will be interesting to see who they hire and which way they go. Obviously, Michael Malone is the guy that should be on the top of everybody's list, I would think, after what he did. But if they want to go with a no-name guy, they may take the other Cavs assistant.
Now, the real question is the Spurs and their serious interest in Kevin Durant. Now, you look at a bunch of teams out there, including Houston, that are interested in Kevin Durant. If the asking price truly is coming down, and there's a lot of people that have been reporting that, could the Spurs be in the mix? I know you're against it, just on some of the YouTube comments on our page today, let alone yesterday or the day before. A lot of mix when it comes to Kevin Durant. Now, I look at his contract, and it's a lot, but it's 2 years. And he's got a player option next year, so it could be one. That does affect the asking price, but I think Kevin Durant, being the shooter that he is, the sniper, and the veteran guy, can be very similar to what Chris Paul was for this young group this year. He fills a need, and it's not long-term, but short-term, I think you could get a lot of success out of the guy.
Well, and what success? I mean, if you're going to bring in a guy like that, then don't you expect finals? I mean, I don't want to bring in a guy like Kevin Durant and say, well, we might make the playoffs this year. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys that you can grow with. Kevin Durant is not that guy. I said the same thing with Chris Paul. He came in. It was great. He was a nice mentor for everybody. I don't know if Kevin Durant's a mentor. I mean, seriously. And I think he might spend more time on the pine than he will on the floor.
He played 62 games last year.
So you're good with that?
He only missed 20, right? He still scored 26 a game, averaged 36 minutes a game. He was 43% from three-point range.
So it depends on the goal then. What is the goal?
So
you're 1 year? That's the goal for Kevin Durant?
1, 2, and if there's an extension possibility, like Pledge sent us a trade scenario that's being reported for Lauri Markkanen. Now, there was a time that I was all in on Lauri Markkanen, but his contract now becomes a bit of a handcuff for me. Now, this trade and what the Spurs don't have to give up, I would do that in a heartbeat. But one of the things I like about Durant's current contract situation, you've got, 3 years left on Wemby's rookie deal, 4 years left on Castle. Fox is going to get his extension this year. That's part of the reason why I don't like the Lauri Markkanen contract now. Now, last summer when we had a chance or there was conversations about Lauri Markkanen, I was all in because De'Aaron Fox wasn't a part of the equation. But now you got to factor in that salary and the projected salary in 3 years that Wemby's going to get and in 4 years that Castle is going to get.
So then you go to Brooklyn and you look at those two guys who are very contract friendly, by the way. Both of them still have years left on their contracts. And you could match that pretty easily, and you solve the problem, too, without getting a guy that's on his last leg in the NBA. You've got guys that you can grow with this basketball team instead of just piecing things together year by year. I mean, it'd be exciting. It was exciting to have Chris Paul here. Yay, woo!
Was it?
Yeah, 34 wins. Congratulations. And you get Kevin Durant in here, and who says it's going to be – if you're going to do that, if you're going to go all in, why not go for Giannis? Bring him in here, and let's go all in to try to win a championship.
I think with Kevin Durant, you're still trying to win a championship. Now, again, you and I
been
can.
A while.
It has. It's been far too long for the Spurs, but you and I disagree on the quality of the current roster that we have. Because you're talking about making the playoffs. I said and I maintained last year when they made the move for De'Aaron Fox, that was to get into the playoffs last year, not be a play-in team, not try to get to the play-in. That was the difference between being a almost team and an actual playoff team.
You really think the Spurs would have been 6 or better?
Absolutely.
No, you're crazy.
We got 5 games.
There's no way that team was going to get into the top 6 teams. There's no way.
Yeah, I disagree. And then Wemby is out with the blood clot, and then they shut down Fox. So we're never going to know. But I think that roster, the roster the Spurs had last year with Chris Paul, and what they were doing when they made that move, that was a move that says we are going for the playoffs this year. Not play-in, but playoffs. And I thought that was a difference-making move when they made it. Stuff happens. But so coming into this year, my expectation is already higher. So then you add in a Kevin Durant. That makes what I think is a playoff team even better.
So as constructed, this team was a playoff team,
yes,
as it is right now. Okay, to get Kevin Durant, you're going to lose Jeremy Sohan most likely. You're going to lose Keldon Johnson and perhaps Devin Vassell. So then all of a sudden your team is not as constructed right now. You're adding one piece and you're losing 3.
If that's what they want in return. And again, I don't know what they're saying lowering the price because one of the different scenarios has them giving up the 14 pick. Cool, we still have the number 2 pick. Do we draft a player or do we use that to get somebody else? And again, with what you're saying, sure, you lose those 3 guys that we're all willing to get rid of to add in the 3-point guy that we need in Kevin Durant. But we're not done. The Spurs won't be done at that point. It's not like you're losing 3 and getting 1 and saying, okay, this is what we're going to roll out with. What are the other moves that they make?
But you got Kevin Durant and his $50 million salary, so what are you going to do with that? And then so he decides that he doesn't like San Antonio after a year. Then you start over from scratch.
Well, what do you mean from scratch?
Because he leaves.
All right, but you're not starting over from scratch because you still have Wemby, Fox, and Castle as your foundation.
But what I'm saying is you can start building a team for the future right now. Why do you want to piecemeal something together just to bring in a name? That's all we're doing is bringing in a name, and you want to keep piecemealing a team together. Why not get a couple of young guys and what I'm talking, Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson from Brooklyn, pull something like that off, and then you've got a team that you can build with instead of piecemealing it together every year.
So what are the last time I checked, I don't think they have lifetime contracts. What is there, 2 years on Claxton, right?
Yeah,
2 years, 2 years on Johnson,
and 4 on Claxton.
So Johnson's got the same contract essentially lengthwise.
Lengthwise.
But
that length is less than Kevin Durant's making in 1 year.
But again, though, I mean, you don't know that he's going to be here any longer when you talk about building. right? I mean, and again, I need that money free when I got to give Wemby his extension.
Well, I don't think that's going to be a problem. The Spurs will find a way to get that done. That's not even going to be an issue in my mind. But I just don't understand why we just want to bring in big names.
I'm not, forget the name. I'm looking at 26 points a game and his three-point shooting ability. That's what I'm looking at. That is what the Spurs need.
Okay. And
it does come with a big name, but I'm looking at what this guy can still do. And, how many games? Dude played 62 games last year.
Okay. So is you sure we're going to get that Kevin Durant? He's 37 years old. Is he going to be the same?
You said the same thing about Chris Paul last year. And look how many games that dude played.
He played a lot of games.
Yeah,
sure.
All of them. Right?
Hey, we'll see what happens. But I totally disagree with a Kevin Durant. I just don't get it. I don't understand the fascination. And the only thing that's fascinating about him is he's Kevin Durant. And it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what you're doing, Pledge. I don't know what this is.
Hey, Pledge, you have a microphone.
43%.
So?
From three-point range?
Okay.
That's good.
That's fantastic. So we get him for a year. Great.
Maybe two.
Maybe.
Maybe two.
Maybe not. I just don't understand. What's wrong with building a team? I don't understand. What is wrong with building a team instead of piecemealing every single year? You get Chris Paul for a year. Well, that's great. Kevin Durant for a year. Well, that's great. Then what? Then what do you just keep piecemealing them together?
You have your foundation set, which isn't piecemeal, but every year, every roster changes a little bit.
Well, according to you two guys, that's a hell of a change. You got a guy shooting 43% from three, you're going to lose. And then what do you do?
Look for the next if he leaves after a year. I mean, honestly, I know you're against it, and partly because he's Kevin Durant and $50 million, and I get that. But if you're going to go get a guy and he's available, this is the time to do it. His game is still at an extremely high level. He has proven that he can go to a place and not have to be the lead dog. He did that in Golden State. Why it didn't work in Phoenix, who knows, with Booker and Beal and Durant, but it didn't work. They're going to blow that thing up. I'd love to get Devin Booker here, but I don't see that happening. But, at the same time, yes, Kevin Durant is a big name, but what do the Spurs need? A consistent three-point shooter. What is Kevin Durant? A consistent three-point shooter.
So is Cam Johnson. He's a consistent three-point shooter. Guy's pretty good, and he's a hell of a lot younger. And you can build with him. And then you get a big guy again, so you fill two needs instead of just one. Look, if they bring Kevin Durant in, great. That's fantastic. Now, I don't like it. I want to build this team with a bunch of young studs that can grow together, and that not only that, you add them, you win now. This team would be rolling if you do that. You got a rim protector and you got a shooter. And you can do it for a hell of a lot cheaper and a lot longer. So I don't understand why it is we just want to bring in stars once a year just because they're big stars.
Well, I think you got to have some veteran guys to go along with the ones that you're building with.
Those are veteran guys I'm talking about.
And again, I wouldn't be mad at that. But if Kevin Durant's available and he's cheaper, you at least have to have those conversations. You don't know that the deal that you're talking about with Brooklyn, that you're going to get both of those guys.
Well, no, you don't. And what's to say Kevin Durant's going to want to come to San Antonio? I mean, Kevin Durant's kind of a big lights guy, isn't he? Yes, is the answer you're looking for.
I don't know how much that matters anymore.
Well,
I mean, Phoenix really isn't all that different than San Antonio.
Well, we'll see. Can Mitch Johnson handle Kevin Durant?
He can handle Wemby.
Well, Wemby. I think there's a big difference between the two.
I mean, superstar power is superstar power.
He got Budenholzer fired in Phoenix. I just don't like it. I don't like any of it, and it just doesn't seem very Spurs-like to bring in a guy like that and to add one piece. Okay, you're adding a shooter. That's it. That's all you're going to get.
With Kevin Durant.
That's it.
Just a shooter. Because he plays no defense.
Well, does he?
Yes, he does.
He's average. I wouldn't say he's a defensive specialist by any stretch of the imagination.
Pledge, where did you see that report?
Jake Weinbach.
So Pledge just put up on our screen, Durant's camp reportedly views San Antonio as a preferred landing spot.
I'm sure he does.
And there's been reports of mutual interest since the trade deadline.
I'm sure all of that is the gospel truth.
Well,
and I'm sure he says the same thing to, I don't know, the Knicks, and maybe the same thing to Miami and Houston and Golden State and any other place that might have interest.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's possible. I mean, now, granted, his relationship with El Jefe is real, even though he wouldn't get to actually play for Pop, but it's there. I mean, and again, a lot of reports out there, and I don't know what to make of the new Spurs. You hear all these reports. It's been forever since the Spurs had this kind of flexibility in the offseason. Players they could trade, picks, a superstar in Wemby that people want to come play with, knowing that they're going to make some moves.
Totally agree.
All the rumors out there. I mean, there was a time where you heard a Spurs rumor and you called BS to it because if it was out there, you kind of felt like Pop would kill it. Like, how'd they learn that? Well, forget it. We're not going to do that deal. And then all of a sudden a deal gets done that you heard nothing about. I don't know if this new day and age, Spurs, is the same way. And you got so many other people involved. I don't think they're talking over at the Spurs building, but the other buildings are talking.
Well, I don't know. Apparently, it's still El Jefe. So it sounds to me like he's still calling the shots. I don't know whether he's calling the shots or not. I'm just saying, look, we're going to debate this for another couple of weeks. I would just rather add some veteran guys that are a little bit younger that this team can grow with, and I think you add a piece or two like I'm talking about. Whether that would happen or not, who knows? But you've got a team here that can compete now and be just as good. Look, you need depth too.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Bringing in a Giannis or a KD, I mean, what depth are you going to have? You're not.
All I know is I've heard you forever say I'm tired of skipping steps, and now it sounds like you don't want to skip a step in building.
I want to have a team. If you look at the teams that are in the finals right now, they both have an enormous amount of depth.
Mm-hmm.
Both got there by adding pieces that became stars, not pieces that were already stars. So I think, maybe Pascal Siakam, you could say he was already a star of some sorts, but that's about it. Everybody else was not a superstar, and they have become that. You've got three guys that one's already a superstar in Wemby, or certainly will be. You got De'Aaron Fox, who is a top-notch basketball player. Stephon Castle had a great rookie year. Hopefully that continues. And you had a couple of other guys in their mid to late 20s that can come in here and help you with a need. I think this team's ready to roll, and you got the depth we're talking about. You had a Giannis or a KD, you're screwed.
You're screwed.
I mean, who's going to shoot when KD's on the bench? He doesn't play 48 minutes.
No, he plays 36.
Okay. Well, who's going to shoot those other 12 minutes?
His backup. He'll have
Who's
one.
That?
He'll have one.
Okay.
I mean, they're not going to roll with 7 guys.
Well, no. But that's my point. They don't have the depth now. You had a KD or a Giannis, you're not going to have any depth at all. None.
So you go Claxton and Johnson. Who's your depth? Because the same people are still leaving in all these trade scenarios.
No, not all of them.
I mean, no, but you're still going to have to go find somebody to have that depth.
Sure.
Like every one of these trade scenarios, Vassell and Sohan and Keldon Johnson are a part of them.
Not with the marketing deal. Vassell was not a part of that.
Not in the marketing deal?
No, Vassell was not a part of that.
All right, so you still have Vassell. And so you're going to have the same complaining that he can't hit a 3 to save his life.
Well, that's true.
I mean, so we got depth they can't shoot.
Look, if you could add 2 pieces instead of 1, it just sounds to me like that would be the way to go. Right? I don't know.
It's math.
Sure.
Math is hard.
2 is better than 1, is it not? Okay. Calm down.
Let's talk Micah.
That'll get my head exploding, too.
Yeah, here we go.
Micah. Whose fault is it? Is it Micah's fault or is it Jerry's fault? Well, it depends on who you ask. So we'll talk about that when we continue here on the Blitz. A 94-1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals is tonight. You got Texas and Texas Tech in the Softball World Series. You got NBA Finals tomorrow night. You know there's no better place to go watch all the games Then at the Roo Pub, they're at 281 and Redland Road with those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around, and it's Wednesday. That means steak night at the Roo Pub. 12-ounce ribeye, your potato, the salad for $19.95. You cannot beat that deal because you know the food at the Roo is fantastic. And that kitchen is open late every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub has all the beers you want and a full bar. Game Room has the best darts area in town and indoor cornhole. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and great for steak night. Just down from the Big Blind, right next to the Angry Elephant, the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, we got a small Friday, and it is packed for you. How about NBA Finals Game 1? Did the Thunder blow them out of the water? And we get to talk about Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final as well. Hockey at its peak. Morning Huddle, don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Does this sound like your marriage? Wake up and realize that there's a better life waiting. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. At Barton & Associates, we specialize in navigating the complexities of divorce law, protecting your best interests, and ensuring you're not left vulnerable. Divorce is tough, but here's the thing. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control of the process and secure your future. If you're serious about protecting yourself and securing your financial future, Barton & Associates is the team you need. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-MILLION. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. If you're tired of this, then start your better life today with Barton & Associates. Visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
That's a great question. How you like me now? Rawr, ha! Get off my lawn.
He's Joe Reinagel.
That's me.
His new Twitter handle. Get off my lawn, damn it.
Get off, baby. Get off. It's fun. We haven't had a good debate like that since Dak Prescott was about to be signed to a stupid contract.
Yeah. Apparently you got a short memory.
Oh, well, that's the beauty of it, man. I love it. Hey, and you know what I love?
I feel like Ray at the gym.
Well, everybody thinks I'm flip-flopping, and I'm trying to think where I'm flip-flopping.
You are flip-flopping.
Now, how am I flip-flopping?
You want to win now, and whatever it takes to win now. And you're tired of skipping steps, and now you want to get younger players and let this thing grow.
Younger play. What was wrong with De'Aaron Fox? That was a good move, wasn't it?
It was a good move.
All right, so you bring in guys that age like him who are veteran players, and that's not skipping steps. That's a team that can win now and has got all the pieces to do so.
No, and I just said in the last segment, I thought the move made them a playoff team. They can win now, and you disagreed with that.
What, with Kevin Durant?
No. With the addition of De'Aaron Fox last year, I thought that was the difference between the Spurs being maybe a play-in team to being a playoff team. That was a win-now move.
No, it's not a win-now move because you still have some things that you have to fulfill. You still don't have a shooter, and this team still didn't play defense worth a damn. They didn't, and you still didn't solve any of that.
So
That's
Kevin Durant does. Kevin Durant
solves the
that.
shooter. Kevin Durant is the missing piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
That's an NBA Finals team right there.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
if you can guarantee that, I'm all in.
Dude, if I could guarantee that, I'd put all your money on a lottery ticket. I mean, and not tell you. But yeah, I think that what is the one thing the Spurs needed most last year, and it was a consistent three-point shooter.
Sure.
What does Kevin Durant offer you? Consistent three-point shooting.
Sure, that solves that problem. You still don't have a big guy who can protect the rim.
You're not done.
And you still don't have any defense.
You're not done.
With Kevin Durant, are you sure?
Yeah, they will make more than one move in the offseason. I promise you.
I'm not a big Kevin Durant fan, I'll be honest.
This man is in his feelings. I wonder why.
That is the underlying, let's get the highlighter out. I don't like Kevin Durant. I don't want anything to do with him. Screw that guy. I don't care what he can offer this team.
I think he's a team killer.
Yeah.
Think about it. I do. I just don't think he'd be good for this team.
And again, I'd rather you say that than, I don't like him. I don't want him here. I mean, that's the truth, because everything else, if Kevin Durant's resume was on a different player, you would be all for it. But it's Kevin Durant.
He's 37 years old. I mean, what is our fascination with bringing in old stars? Chris Paul last year, when we're in Kevin Durant this year. Well, go out and get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Maybe he's got some time left. Who knows? He's a great player.
At one point.
I don't know. Maybe LeBron would want to come here. His farewell tour. He can come to San Antonio.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, yes. Come on, LeBron. Why not? As long as we're throwing stuff against the walls.
I mean, except for this has some realistic opportunity of sticking to the wall.
Man, why weren't we in on that Luka trade? Spurs dropped the ball. I mean, we could have got Luka for nothing.
No, I think they wanted, what were some of the reports? They called San Antonio first, wanted Luka for Wemby.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I think I read that on the internet.
Okay, well, that's ridiculous.
Well,
but, I mean, they gave him to L.A. for nothing.
Well,
they gave him to, I take that back. Paul George was once a great player. Still is when he plays.
Yeah, playoff Paul?
Yeah, when he plays, he's still a good player. But he doesn't play.
Mm-hmm. Or Anthony Davis.
Or Anthony Davis. Or Paul George. They're the same guy, aren't they?
And that other dude that we never talk about?
Who's that?
Two?
Oh, that guy, yeah.
One that never plays? Yeah, that guy.
Oh, damn.
Now, number 11 tweeted out last night.
We're not saying his name either, or what?
Micah Parsons tweeted out last night. I thought we were just going with numbers.
Okay.
For the rest of the show. Let's do something different. It's Wednesday. Why not? Why not Wednesday? Micah Parsons, in responding to the shoddy quote yesterday about expecting him to be there next week. Parsons tweeted out, "I will be there. I haven't missed a mini camp in 4 years. Even though the contract is not done, I have teammates and a playbook. I'm preparing as if I will be on the field the first week of camp, but it's in the owner's hands. I'm ready to win a Super Bowl."
It's in the owner. So, well, if you believe Micah, then that answers that question, doesn't it? Because we're saying, well, whose fault is it? Is Micah holding up the deal, or is Jerry holding up the deal? Well, according to Micah, it's Jerry.
And again, if you believe Micah, because there was at one point this offseason, it felt like there was a handshake agreement. In fact, Clarence Hill reported that there was a handshake agreement, but Micah would not sign anything without David Mulugeta going over everything. Why it's not done, and I have suggested, because Jerry does bring it up all the time, like with Dak's deal, it takes two. Is Micah waiting? Could Micah be waiting for TJ Watt to get his deal? If you believe Micah on Twitter and take him for his word, it's all up to Jerry. Whenever Jerry calls a meeting and has the number at the right spot, he's ready to sign his deal. I like the fact that he's going to show up. I don't expect him to do a damn thing. I'd be surprised if he did anything, but he will be there because he doesn't want to get fined.
No, he doesn't. And why would you? I mean, he'll be there. But I don't know if he'll do anything, but he'll be there. And that's really all he has to do. And I wouldn't blame him if he didn't do anything. There's got to be some kind of holdup. Obviously, there's a holdup. But, I mean, is it years? Is it guaranteed money? Is it the annual salary? And something that they're not agreeing on, they're far off. And so I guess I read that as Micah and his people have put out a number and a term and what they want, and Jerry's doesn't agree with that.
And again, you have to get in a room to negotiate. And it doesn't even feel like, based on comments that we've heard recently from Jerry or Steven, because Jerry said at the owners' meetings they haven't talked in weeks. You can't negotiate if you're not communicating. So who knows? And Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk has been saying on this show and all the other shows that she does that she believes that one of the reasons Jerry doesn't like to get a deal done early is because you got to put all that guaranteed money into escrow. And he doesn't want to move that cash from his account that's drawing interest into an account that he can't gain the interest on. But it does make me wonder, who gets the interest on an escrow account? Does that go back to the owner?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or do you put enough in there and with the projected interest that will grow out to the amount that you need, which I guess is possible. But Jerry likes the money in his account versus an account he can't access. And there's a lot of money in those escrow accounts because all these guaranteed contracts, and that makes sense.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, does it make sense? I mean, you've got a new defensive coordinator and a first-year head coach. Of all the years for Jerry Jones to do something a little bit different than what he normally does, this would be the year because the circumstances are different. Eberflus is changing the defense. He's changing some of the calls. He's changing some of the alignments. Micah needs to be there for all of that. You've got a rookie head coach, and you've been telling us for years, Jerry, that, you can't do this and that because you're going to pay Dak, CD, and Micah. Well, you've done two of the three, and you've been telling us for years you're going to do this deal, and you've been budgeting to do this deal. So what is the holdup? Of all the years to not do anything different, it's to help out your brand-new defensive coordinator and your brand-new head coach.
Well, is Micah asking for more than Jerry thinks? Or is the term of the contract more? Is it there's something there that Jerry's not liking? Look, it could be the money, I guess. I mean, that's one way to look at it, but I don't think so. I think it's something that they're just not agreeing on at this point in time, whether that's the length, whether that's the guaranteed money, whatever it is. To me, that's the problem.
I don't know how far off they could be at this point if you're getting top of the market, record-setting money. And
guarantees.
Well, and maybe that's some of it, but how far off could it be? You just look at everybody's contract and you add a couple percentages, and there it is. Now, if he's trying to get quarterback money, sure. But I think if he came in and asked for, I want Brock Purdy's contract, I imagine we would have heard that by now. He's going to take, who is it? Jamar Chase's right now is at the top. You're taking that deal, and that becomes the new blueprint. And you go from there. It just doesn't seem that complicated other than Shireen and the escrow stuff, or Jerry likes us talking about it all year long because once he signs, what are we going to talk about with the Cowboys? Deuce Vaughn talked to the media this week. Are we talking about that? No. We didn't even break down that audio.
Deuce Vaughn talked to the media?
You want to hear? It's a short interview.
Yeah.
He is gadget juice.
Pun intended.
I don't know what they would talk to Deuce about.
That's who the Cowboys made available yesterday.
How about that? And
how's the practice squad life?
Yeah, you talk about one of the dumbest things ever, the fact that he's still a member of the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean,
Jerry, you like to pay guys to do nothing.
I know. I'm sure he does a good job getting everybody's lunch.
Well,
before the
maybe,
meetings.
but the guy's he's a 3-year veteran now. Other guys got to get him lunch.
Is it 3 years, 2 years?
He's going into 3, isn't he?
Is it really?
I believe it's his 3rd year. Yeah.
Wow. Time flies.
It really. Well, the only reason I remember that because I'll never forget the day I got to piss him off.
Was that this year or last year?
That was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yes.
That was 2 years ago.
It was. So this will be his 3rd training camp.
Wow. Is he still eligible for practice squad then? Is it a 3-year guy?
Good question. I don't see how he makes the team.
There's no way he makes the team over Miles Sanders.
No.
None.
There can't be.
None.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he is. Might see him at Toys R Us. Are those things still open?
I don't think so. And don't make a pool float analogy at this point.
You don't think Deuce likes pool floats?
Not like this guy in Florida does.
Well, most people like pool floats.
Not like the guy in Florida does.
Not like the guy in Florida does. We'll tell you what he does with pool floats and why he got arrested for it. We'll talk about all of that when we continue here on the Blitz. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, I got to tell you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. Love talking about Stevens Roofing, family-owned company, local company that's been in business here in San Antonio, Central and South Texas for a long, long time. And you know what that means? That means they are doing it right. They've got a very, very long list of satisfied customers because they care about what they're doing. And they do it right, and they want to make sure that you get exactly what you were paying for. And right now, with the summertime heating up, with the sun blazing down, although it's been pretty cloudy lately with no rain, but still, you know it's going to get hot. It's June, July. We got August coming up. It's going to be very hot. It can all take its toll on your roof because those triple-digit temperatures certainly are no joke. Right now is a perfect time to call Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. Let them send a team out to your house. They will inspect your roof for free with no obligation. They'll let you know if everything's okay. They'll let you know if you have a problem. They'll let you know if they think you need a new roof. All of that, and then you can decide what you want to do, but you'll decide you want to go with the best in the business. That is Stevens Roofing and Solar. Give them a call at 210-785-0994. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net. Either way, you can schedule your free roof inspection. Look, keep your roof in top shape. You don't want to get caught off guard. Stevens Roofing and Solar is the company to call. Why don't you do that right now? 210-785-0994.
Riding I-10 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel for hands-free Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins.
Yeah, I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
The Lion and Rose at the Dominion, your daily happy hour spot from 3 till 7 p.m. 250 drafts, wine, wells, and bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Lion and Rose at 23330 West I-10.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use, So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-471-9773. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-471-9773. 800-471-9773. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-471-9773 or biglou.com. That's 800-471-9773 or biglou.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the NBA All-Star format is being tweaked again for next season. Commissioner Adam Silver announced that today. He says the 2026 All-Star Game will showcase some version of Team USA versus the world. The Women's College World Series all gets underway tonight. Battle of Texas. Texas Longhorns take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. Will be televised on ESPN.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Guess what day it is?
Hump Day!
In stereo. Hump Day!
Hump Day!
Yeah. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix to my right, and you got James Pledger in the glass box of fun. What a great Wednesday it is. You having a good Wednesday, Minix?
I'm having a great Wednesday.
You had a little like a I don't know, a mean look on your face. You deep in thought or scowl? That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, scowl. On
Really?
Your face. Yeah, like you just got some bad news or something.
No, Scowl, it's Pledge has this deal from the council meeting that's going on right now on the screen, and I guess maybe just trying to read it because we need binoculars to see that. All I can read are the major headlines. I don't know why he keeps it up there because I can't read any of it. Can you read any of it?
Well, I've got it right here. They're talking about VIA right now, and I guess their expectations for the VIA schedule once the new Wemby Center is done. And Project Marvel. I suppose
Do
that's
we
what
need
it is.
to know that?
It's via rapid green and silver routes. So I don't know is that a thing?
I have no idea.
I didn't know they were in color.
I guess that's important.
I suppose. But that's what they're talking about right now.
I just want to know how much is the damn thing going to cost?
Yeah, exactly.
And who's going to pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that has yet to be answered.
Well, they show who's going to pay for it. They just don't show how much each participant will pay. That's kind of an issue, isn't it? It's kind of a problem.
My expectation when I heard that they were doing this today is that we would find out of the projections how much the Spurs are going to put in. And I think that's the number one thing most people want to know. How much are the Spurs actually putting into this building that could cost about $1.5 billion? How much is coming from the county? How much is coming from the city? Now, they do tell us today that some of those details, like the city taxes and the county car rental tax and hot tax, and there will be money, a team contribution from the Spurs, but how much? And we don't have that yet, which is, quite frankly, a little disappointing because I think that is what everybody wants to know. That's the one question. All the other stuff, how the bus lines are going to be affected, you guys can figure that out later and let us know.
Well, you got to get with the cone guy.
Well, I memean, exactly. You know, cone guy's looking for a contact at the city since the county's going to leave. I just, again, I go back to what are the numbers, what are the percentages, and how is it going to affect my wallet?
That's exactly right. Now, I'm very disappointed that we haven't gotten to that. Now, the meeting's still going on, so maybe they will at the end. I don't know, but I think that's what everybody wants to know. How much are we putting in? How much are the Spurs putting in? How much private equity is going into that? I mean, it seems pretty simple when you look at it, or have they not figured that out yet?
Well, I would hope. I mean, for the arena, money would come from the team, some private money, city and county. Now, on the city, it says arena lease, hemisphere TRZ, whatever that is, private development ground leases, project financing zone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. County, venue tax, county hot tax, car rental tax. Spurs, team contribution. UTSA land purchase, appraised value assumed to be approximately $60 million. Midtown TIRZ funded. And again, though, $1.5 billion. Out of those three buckets, who's got and how's that going to affect? Now, what I don't see on here, property taxes. All right, cool.
That is good.
Does that mean they're not using property tax money for some of these other things? That's what the people want to know.
That's exactly what everybody wants to know is who's doing what and what's it going to cost, and bam. Just bottom line it for us. All this other stuff is just, okay, yeah, I agree with you. Get in the back room and figure that stuff out.
Yeah. Cliff's Notes versions
exactly.
and then tweet. Let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
You know, Jason, when I look at the NFL owners, there's an article today talking about pushing ESPN to buy the NFL Network in essence.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they want them to do. And they want to get rid of that thing, apparently. And it just leads me to ESPN. You know, they had a lot of layoffs, but, boy, they pay a lot of money for big talent. Stephen A., Pat McAfee. Now they're getting Barkley and Shaq and all of those guys. So they must be doing okay. And then if they can end up buying the NFL Network and do something with that, I think it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. And, again, there's been on-again, off-again negotiations with ESPN and NFL media, but it sounds like now the owners want to unload NFL media. It's expensive. Now, you look at ESPN, already has a great relationship with the NFL, Monday Night Football, the direct-to-consumer aspect that ESPN is going with, plus Amazon is spending money, Netflix is spending money. What a great way to make sure you stay in good with the NFL owners than take over a part of the business that the NFL, that's not what they're really good at. Although the NFL Network has been very successful, but they have had to trim down like every other media company out there. They have trimmed down a lot. And now, you think about their shows. I mean, at one point, Good Morning Football was must-watch television.
It was.
I don't know that it is anymore. Their pregame show, I kind of go back and forth, but in reality, so ESPN could take it over. I don't know if they do away with the NFL Network, keep it there and split personalities and talent and share. But look, a couple of big NFL Network, NFL media stars have been told they can go explore. And now Schrager works for ESPN.
Yep.
Rich Eisen is coming to ESPN. It's just a matter of time.
Well, it is, and that's the beauty, right? ESPN, and the sad part for a lot of people, because ESPN can decide who they want to keep and who they don't. And that's just the way it goes, and that's part of this, the cruel part of this business sometimes. It's just the way that it is. You like your boy Cam Scattaboo?
I did. He's a Giant now, so he's dead to me.
Really? Just like that?
Just like that.
Wow. You won't root for him when, I don't know, they're playing the Eagles or the Giants? Not the Giants. He can't play himself. The Washington
At one point,
Commandskins.
the Giants will let him go, and he'll play against the Giants. No, I'm a big Cam Scattaboo fan. Just a great young kid out of Arizona State. Wish he was a Cowboy. He's with the Giants now. But he did the podcast with Amon St. Brown, and I'm watching this going, this is bad. But at the same time, I would have gotten a lot of these wrong too. How well do you recognize football players not in their football uniforms? You know, NBA guys, you know what they look like.
Sure, because they don't wear a helmet.
NFL
right?
guys have helmets on, and outside of a quarterback and some receivers, you don't know these guys. But they set this dude up.
I got no idea who this is.
There's no way. When were you born?
2002.
He's
Wow.
an 02 baby. You tell me you don't know who that is. Nah, this is making me sick, bro. Wait,
I feel like I know his face, but I don't know. I can't tell you
one
his
of the
name.
best receivers to ever play the game of football. He played for the Lions.
Is Megatron?
Yeah.
Is it?
No, I'm sick.
I thought he had a little bit more chocolate to him. I thought he was a little bit more darker than that.
More chocolate.
Top one's Baker.
Yep.
Bottom one.
He recreated that picture from the bottom picture. Legendary picture.
The bottom one's a quarterback too?
Yep.
I have no idea who that is.
Brett Favre. I don't know if you've heard of him.
That's long. I mean, I've heard of him, of course, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I can see it now, but
He's
you
old.
would showed me an older picture of him. Yeah, for sure.
Well, see, and I think that's part of it. I mean, if you weren't around back then and are unfamiliar with that photo, you wouldn't have recognized Brett Favre because, man, he looks so completely different. Now, if you know the photo, immediately you know exactly who that is.
That was a very young Brett Favre, the photo was. So, yeah, look, and they go on, they throw Golden Tate in there on him. I'm like, dude, Golden Tate,
I don't know if I'd have recognized him in his uniform.
Exactly. So I'm like, hey, that really wasn't fair. But he handled it well. I thought he was good. It sounds like he's got a great personality, without a doubt. Let's get to the meat of this thing, because there's a Florida guy who's just pled guilty.
Well, was that a pun intended?
He could be. You take it however you want to take it. Florida man pleads guilty to stealing pool floats, not because he's got a pool, but he uses them for sexual gratification.
Now, this is bizarre. Now, apparently,
Is it?
well, no, the whole story is bizarre because the dude's mugshot looks like he's homeless, but apparently he's not. But
he looks crazy.
There is a vacant home across the street from where he lives, and he stored all these pool floats.
75 of them.
Yes, that they found. But in this area of Florida, a lot of people just were reporting that their floats, their pool toys were missing. But, you know, you think about Florida, a lot of them have screened-in pools.
Yep.
And, you know, the screens were getting cut. He was breaking in, but only stealing pool toys. And he said, according to the police reports, that he used those to satisfy himself instead of raping women.
Oh, my gosh.
And they're like, all right, he admitted to it. Now, granted, these arrests happened in 2019. His trial was supposed to start on Monday, but, you know, they reached a plea agreement, and he pleaded guilty, and this is what he said on Monday. Yeah, I did it because, you know, the alternative was, and he gets house arrest.
Well, yeah, 2 years of that. I guess that's a house arrest. It had another name to it, right?
It basically house arrest.
House arrest for 2 years, and then he's on probation for 8 years, I think, on top of that. But
now, he also got in trouble for stealing pool toys back in 2007 and I think 2011. Guy's got a thing.
Well, is there a shrink for that?
I'm sure there.
I mean, seriously.
I'm sure there's somebody he could talk to.
I mean, it's kind of like the dude yesterday with the sex dolls. Isn't that the same thing?
Well, I think the sex dolls are actually built for a specific purpose.
But I know, but
Pool
they're made out of
toys
the
aren't-
same thing, aren't they?
I have no idea. Yeah. Next time you're sitting with your pool toys in the backyard, are you going to think,
No, they've never excited me. I'll be honest with you. I've never looked at a pool toy and said, "Oh, baby, sure would like to have some fun with you." I haven't. And if you do that, hey, more power to you. Just
now that you know that it's a possibility.
Just say, well, where would you go with that? I mean,
if you have to ask.
I mean, I'm not sure.
I was looking for the noodles.
Exactly. Maybe. Who knows? You got a noodle for the noodle. Who knows? Oh my gosh, it's bizarre stories that come out of Florida.
How many noodles in your pool?
I don't have a noodle in there.
You're going to get a noodle now.
No, I'm not.
You might need new noodles.
Well, my pool's not big enough for a noodle.
Size doesn't matter, apparently.
Well, apparently not.
I mean, you could put a noodle in your pool.
We got some, well, I guess we could.
Yeah.
We got some floating, like, chair-looking things.
Uh-huh.
So you just sit in there and float around.
Well, now you got to get a noodle.
I don't want a
noodle. Multi-use.
Well, it'd be like wearing a thong. We're sitting on a noodle, isn't it? I mean, don't you? I mean, you put that.
I don't know what you're doing with your noodle.
Front and back.
But I don't know what you're doing with your noodle.
I don't have a noodle in that sense. In that sense.
Just add water.
Those things grow? Holy cow.
Dude.
There's some crazy people in Florida. That's all I've got to say. That really is.
Fred wants to know about your heated pool.
Yeah, well,
can't be too cold. You're going to use the noodle.
It may be. That's
in those regards.
In those regards. Well, the other, I mean, it's not bad.
What?
Never mind. Did I say that out loud? Oh,
what?
You whip it out. Honey,
Go
welcome
to town.
home. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
you're a dumb butt.
All of the above is true. I'm just speaking of that. That was Jeff Traylor, wasn't it? Lisa Campos is going to join us at 5:15 today, the athletic director at UTSA. We got a lot to talk to her about, so I'm looking forward to that. But AD says Larry David had a sex doll on one of his episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Doesn't surprise me.
I missed that episode. Missed a lot of those episodes, by the way.
I didn't know that was on your watch list.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll get out of this as quickly as we can. We're going to talk a little NBA basketball. We've had the debate about KD to San Antonio. We'll continue that. But the commissioner today has decided to tweak the All-Star game. How do you feel about that? We'll talk about it when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, when you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available for both residential and commercial needs. Hill Electric, a great family-owned business for well over 30 years, has done a variety of projects at my house through the years. They do fantastic work. They've added a spotlight over one of the grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room, extra outlets in the garage because the builder never puts enough in there. And one of the great things about Hill Electric, one, they're the best in the business, but two, it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done because there's never a service charge, and there's always free estimates. So if you've got a project or an emergency situation, call Hill Electric, whether it's for your office, commercial work, or something at the house. Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or hill-electric.com.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time. They would never tell me no. They will, trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the two cats you've had,
How
one of them's
dare
dead.
you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
Just saying.
You want to bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, news. World-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
This is A.J. Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6 for the perfect ride to work on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Well, the city council meeting's still going on. They're discussing Project Marvel, I think. They're showing a lady, with all due respect, I don't know who she is, but she looks like she's in a hotel room on a Zoom call. So I don't know what they're doing, but they're talking about Project Marvel, and I was hoping they were going to get transparent as to the money and where it's going, but that hasn't happened yet. So we'll keep you posted on what's going on there. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix to my right. James Pledger is in the glass box of fun. NBA today, a lot happening, actually. The Suns have hired a new head coach. They took one of the Cavs assistants. Jordan Ott is going to be the Suns' new head coach.
Yeah, and Jordan Ott started his career as a video dude with Coach Bud in Atlanta. and has worked his way up. Kind of interesting since Coach Bud was one fired by Matt Ishby. But Devin Booker was a part of the process, gave the blessing. Steve Nash had a lot of nice things to say about Jordan Ott from his time in Brooklyn, and he's a Michigan guy, and that's apparently a requirement for the Suns owner is you've got to have ties to Michigan State. I say that kind of jokingly, but everybody that he's hired in some sort of senior leadership position has Michigan ties, Michigan State ties.
Yeah, sometimes that makes a difference to some people, that's for sure. It just seems to be the trend around the NBA. Obviously, Jordan Ott, you've got Mitch Johnson. Who was it? Was it Sacramento that's hired an assistant that I've never heard of?
Yeah, well, in Denver, I mean, it's interesting because we always talk about why do you go after all these retreads? And
True.
then when nobody hires a retread, you go, what the hell's wrong with everybody? Right? The Knicks. There's another Cavs assistant who could end up with the Knicks job. Not a Mike Malone, not a Jay Wright, all Jeff Van Gundy, who's an assistant right now, but he's been there. It is kind of interesting when you look at, as fans, the things that we say and then how we react to when things happen the way we kind of wish they would. Where's the new fresh? And again, you think about becoming a head coach. Mitch Johnson, a prime example. The billion-dollar industry that they're now leading.
Oh, man. Unbelievable. Look, and at least to Mitch's advantage, he had just about a full season to get under his belt. Now he can hit the ground running with that. By the way, it was Doug Christie in Sacramento, who had never been an NBA head coach, but he'd been a college head coach. So, and obviously he was a pretty good basketball player too. So, again, though, somebody that's never been an NBA head coach.
Now, one of the questions for Mitch Johnson and his input on what do the Spurs do with that number 2 overall pick. Now, Dylan Harper at the pre-draft workout camp thing did talk, and he's worked out for a number of teams, not just San Antonio, but a number of teams. But he did say all the right things when it comes to San Antonio and the idea of him playing with Wemby.
It'd be great to play with him, and Victor is just freaking nature. I mean, everything he does is crazy. I mean, 7'6", he covers the whole paint, so, it's hard to get a shot on him. He's just developing every day, so it'd be great and it'd be an honor.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. I think everybody feels that way. And if you're Dylan Harper, why not? You come to a franchise like San Antonio that's got a foundation in place. It would just be interesting to see how Mitch Johnson uses all of those guards.
Well, and that becomes the big question because by all accounts, his dad does not want him anywhere but New York, right?
Brooklyn,
which is New York. You look at Dylan Harper. You mentioned the foundation. Yes, it starts with Wemby, but you have Castle and you have Fox. So the idea of you've got how do you play when you got those two guys that play the same position?
I mean, it would be crazy. I mean, dream come true to even be in this position. I mean, now the NBA is really like positionless basketball. So I mean, you could play with a bunch of ball handlers and a bunch of people that could get opportunities for themselves, but let other people get opportunities for them.
Look, I'm sure they would find a way to use all of those guys. Off the bench. Who knows? That'd be Mitch Johnson's problem if that's where they could decide to go. And by all intents and purposes, everything you read, at least right now, Spurs seem to be intent on using that number 2 pick on Dylan Harper. So we'll see what happens. But he said the right thing. But I imagine if somebody interviewed him about, I don't know, the Knicks or Golden State, he'd probably say the same thing.
Well, and again, there are, because of comments and tweets by his dad, you wonder how much that would trickle down. And he did say all the right things. There are other guys that are through a draft process in a variety of sports that, they don't want to be somewhere and maybe they didn't have the right answers to the questions. And, I think an easy look at Shedeur Sanders and all the things that were said about him when teams are interviewing him. I'm not going to be down when you're drafting in the first round. I don't need to talk to you guys. I'm not prepared for this meeting or that meeting. He could have answered those in a different way, or if he was trying to force his way out. You think about all the stuff about Caleb Williams not wanting to be a Bear last year in that new book. And I credit Caleb Williams a lot because he talked 4 or 5 minutes yesterday and said, yeah, everything in that book's true. I'm good now, but he could have blamed his dad. He could have not wanted to talk about it, but he said, yeah, all that was true. Coming in, that's not where I wanted to be.
I'm glad he came clean.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was his decision to stay, according to that book. And he said, I think I can do some things with this franchise. So props to him. Look, Dylan Harper seems like a great young man. I mean, he does. He seems like a great young man. I'm sure he'd be a great fit here in San Antonio. We'll see what happens there. What are the Spurs going to do? That's the big deal, and we've talked about it already. We're going to talk about it a lot. Kevin Durant now apparently is looking at San Antonio as well, and the Suns may bring the price down as well. Is it John Gambadoro of ESPN in Phoenix said this about Kevin Durant?
Keep your eye on the Spurs, that KD could have some interest in the Spurs, that might be a good landing spot for him, with Fox and Wembanyama and an up-and-coming team on the rise that has a great defensive anchor to their team and a terrific young player in Castle. And I start to pick the brains of some of the people I'm speaking with and what could they get? So, the key player coming back if they were to do a deal with San Antonio, as we just discussed, I'm not reporting this, but you might have to take Harrison Barnes back to make the money work, but then could you get Devin Vassell, who's a really good player, good young? You got to get young assets back. And the thing with Vassell with San Antonio or Jalen Green with Houston is that they're two guards. And you can sit there, you don't want a guy who plays the same position as Booker. But, you might have to. You might have to take back somebody who plays the same position. You need to get younger talent. I'm not guaranteeing this, but I would expect that a KD deal would happen right before the draft, because you'd want to include draft capital in any deal. So I think that a Kevin Durant trade would come up this month, sometime before the draft, probably close to the draft if it's going to happen.
Now, you hear that, and that's on ESPN 98.7 in Phoenix. They were actually talking more about the Rockets. And he's like, dude, hang on, Spurs. But with that move, by some of the different things that you read, and who knows how true they are, the number 2 pick wasn't a part of that. So, so it'd be Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, maybe 14, and off you go. And again, the Kevin Durant part, whether you're going from an ESPN Phoenix report and the people he's talking to there or some of the national media, about 4 to 6 different teams said to be very interested in Kevin Durant, and San Antonio is said to be one of those teams. And the asking price seemingly coming way down. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Look, Phoenix has got to be in for a full rebuild, right? They're going to have a new coach. And so I feel bad for Devin Booker. I mean, he's going to be the guy there. Bradley Beal, he does have a no-trade clause, but I would imagine if they found a deal for him, he'd probably want to get out of there. So Devin Booker and a bunch of dudes. Well, and with Bradley Beal, he does have the no-trade clause, but he also has a 15% kicker in his contract if he does agree to waive it. So there's some real financial incentive for him to move. But, and I don't know, I want nothing to do with Bradley Beal, but Devin Booker says he wants to be a Sun for life. Yep. Giannis was going to be a Buck for life. Uh-huh. Luka was going to be a Mav for life. Well, he wanted to be. Yeah, well, and now Giannis, and who knows, but you wonder if Book is going to stay, because quite honestly, if the Spurs could figure out how to get Devin Booker, that would be the ultimate move to try to go make. It just seems like the most impossible move. It'd be like, Tim Duncan towards the end, all of a sudden he's getting traded. Well, there are some guys they're going to be there forever. Well, sure. I mean, that would be great too, but then what do? You're adding another guard to an already guard-heavy roster. Well, then you don't need Dylan Harper. Well, okay, fair enough. So you'd trade the number 2 for absolutely. I mean, if you can get Devin Booker, and again, but of the ones you could get, and KD, I know you and I disagree on this, fills a need. A lot of other guys. I just don't expect the Spurs to not do something before the draft. They've got the picks. They've got the players. Now is the time to move to make this a legit playoff team that can compete with Oklahoma City next year. And I think they can do that, and we'll see which way they go. But I think between now and June 25th, there's going to be a lot of rumors like we're talking about today. But watch that week before the draft, because the guy from Phoenix on 98.7 just said, all teams are going to be looking for draft capital before the draft.
So trades are going to be made before that. And I think that 7 to 10 days before the draft, I think this thing's really going to heat up, and it's going to be exciting.
Now, let me ask you this from Bleacher Report. San Antonio gets Lauri Markkanen. Utah gets Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, and the number 14 overall pick.
Okay, where do I sign? Sign me up for that.
And again, I would too, although I'm not a fan of Lauri Markkanen's contract now, knowing that they're about to pay De'Aaron Fox, and you've got to have the available space when Wemby gets his extension. But what I'm curious, and this is why I always say, this is from Bleacher Report, why in the hell would Utah do that deal?
Well, I think they need to rebuild. I do, and I think they're looking for draft capital.
They're getting number 14 this year, and not all those future picks that the Spurs have. Again, I look at this and go, why would Utah do this?
Well, I think who you mentioned? Sohan,
Keldon, Barnes.
Well, Harrison Barnes is a throw-in,
and
obviously.
then number 14 pick.
So, yeah, I don't know, but it's out there. I'd like to look. The Spurs have had interest in Markkanen forever.
Yep.
I mean, they have. They've been wanting this guy for a long time. If that happens, I think it would be great. But again, and I'll say it again, just to be fair, it doesn't solve all their problems, but it solves a big part of their problem. I mean, it does. So we'll see what happens. Just as the same as Kevin Durant does. The difference is Lauri Markkanen's 28 years old. Kevin Durant's 10 years his senior.
Yeah, the reason I like Durant over is I know we're going to pay Fox. Wemby will get his extension.
Sure.
Markkanen's contract is for 5 years. Durant's 2, but the player option on year 2. So by the time you have to pay Wemby, that Durant money is off your books. Markkanen's is not.
Well, look, I'm not worried about that just yet. I'd kind of like to put a team together, and one that can win now. Everybody that says I'm flip-flopping, I'm not. I want a team that can win now, and I think some young veteran talent like De'Aaron Fox could get that done.
I think Joe's saying he doesn't want to skip steps.
No, I want to skip steps. I want to get some guys in here that can win now. I don't want to draft and develop. That's the difference in what I've been saying the whole time. Draft, develop, waiting for these guys to be good. I want guys that are proven players in the NBA to come in here and let's go. That's not a flip-flop in my mind. Is it in yours?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, I could say, Kevin Durant's the greatest. You would say you're flip-flopping.
You would be if you actually said that.
Yeah, well,
I mean, he is the greatest. You just don't like him.
No, he's a great player. He's just getting old. He's 37 years old, for goodness sake.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great player. A lot of respect for Kevin Durant.
And he can knock down a 3.
He can. He can do that. He can. Can Micah knock down a 3? I don't know. They've been playing a lot of basketball at the start.
I'm sure he could.
They've been playing a lot, but he hasn't been there a lot to do much of it. He might turn an ankle on that basketball court. You got to be careful. So you can't do that. Micah is blaming Jerry for the stalemate when it comes to his new contract. We're talking about it when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number. You can text the word bail to 474747 or even start the bonding process online by going to mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, we got a small Friday, and it is packed for you. How about NBA Finals Game 1? Did the Thunder blow them out of the water? And
We get to talk about Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final as well. Hockey at its peak. Morning Huddle. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The Lion and Rose at the Dominion, your daily happy hour spot from 3 till 7 p.m. 250 drafts, wine, wells, and bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Lion and Rose at 23330 West I-10.
Guys, starting TRT has never been easier. Other places charge hundreds of dollars just for the test. But visit any Synergenics or Low T center and get the consultation and test totally free. Treatment is personalized to you, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It sounded like the start of a commercial, man. I thought we had one more left. Like one of those, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Now it doesn't sound like a commercial.
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
It's not. We're back. At all. We're back, and it's hump day. Hope you're having a great Wednesday, everybody. This is the Blitz. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, Matt Roy from News 4 is at the city council meeting, and he just tweeted out, voters won't be on the hook for buildings and structures for the arena as they're discussing and unveiling Project Marvel plans today. But with all R.C. Buford sitting in the second row, Matt tweets out, but you, as a voter, will be on the hook for the infrastructure, which the city said today would cost $220 to $250 million for the entirety of the project. If all goes to plan, that will be on the November ballot.
Interesting.
Only $250 million?
That seems low.
It does seem low. Now, I'm curious, how are we as citizens on the hook for that $250? Is that coming through which kind of tax? That I don't know the answer to yet. The city council meeting is still going. And I was just texting with Matt because he was going to jump on after it, and I don't think either of us thought it was going to last this long. But he's got to do the 5 o'clock news. He's hoping it's over by then. So maybe 5:35 we'll have Matt. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Interesting because, see, I got to put all the pieces together. Because a couple of weeks ago, the city council passed their deal that basically provided the funds for the Spurs arena. And so I don't know what this is. Is this for the infrastructure of the entire Project Marvel, or is it just Spurs arena? See, I'm not sure.
Again, won't be on the hook for buildings and structures and arena.
So that's all of it. Okay.
But the infrastructure, now is that all the roads and stuff around? So is that out of a tax that's already there? Is that, plumbing so we can all do the 20,000 toilets flushing at one time kind of thing that they always do in big buildings like that to make sure all the
cool.
Anytime there's a big building like that that's new, they all have, everybody stands there and flushes at the same time to make sure it all works.
Well, you have to make sure of that. Can you imagine the first game and everybody's in there peeing and the toilets don't work?
I mean, remember that time in the Alamo Dome when the water cannon went off?
Yes,
Imagine that coming from the plumbing.
That would not be good. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's kind of a little info, a little transparency there.
Although, if I'm reading that, the way I'm reading that right now, with so much more information to learn, but you're talking about an overall project that's going to be in the billions when you think about Project Marvel in its entirety. And the arena itself, they're saying the high number is $1.5 billion. And if taxpayers are only coming up with $250 million, give or take, and that's being the ceiling, 220 to 250 for infrastructure, however you define that. If somebody's in commercial construction and wants to add to it, call in and let us know. But that almost seems like such a small percentage, but also seems very doable to get past. Because I think if you're going to a ballot and you see something and billion is on there, and you're probably going to go now.
Well, I mean, again, they're going to have to come out and tell us what that tax is, because nobody's going to vote. Okay, it's only $250 million, so just go vote for it. They're going to have to tell us what that tax is and what we're on the hook for. So that still has got to come.
And is that city property taxes for San Antonio?
Well,
what about the little cities like Castle Hills or Terrell Hills or Alamo Heights or Chavano Park or is it Bexar County? I don't know.
Well, it can't be. If they mention property taxes on homeowners, forget about it. It won't pass.
Yeah,
I promise you, it won't. I don't care how bad everybody wants. It won't pass.
Some sort of little sales tax on whatever.
It's got to be something like that. It has to be something like that. So they're going to have to come out with that eventually. But that number, that's a good start.
I got an idea. Tell Governor Abbott not to veto that bill for hemp, and we'll just put the tax on those products.
There you go. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Or, legalize sports gambling. Maybe we could use that somehow.
I mean, could you imagine? We've talked so much about Phoenix today. There is a FanDuel Sportsbook right inside the arena, which right now is called PHX Arena. I was just there a couple weeks ago for a Disturbed concert, but I went in the FanDuel casino there just because I could.
Absolutely.
Even though I couldn't bet on a game going on because I was at a concert and they didn't have lines for, how many times there would be a guitar solo or something, but you could just walk in there and watch baseball, which was going on.
You could have bet on baseball.
I could have bet on baseball right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Unbelievable. It sucks. Hey, I don't know how new this is, but Shams Charania has said Durant trade talks are about to escalate.
Uh-oh.
Phoenix will work directly with Durant's business partner, Rich Kleiman, to find his new team. 4 to 6 teams will express interest in trading for Durant. So by escalate, not sure what that means. They're going to get on the phones and start talking to folks or what that is. But that's the latest from Shams Charania. Find that interesting. Micah Parsons is not going to be traded, is he?
No.
No trade talks with Micah?
No, only from you.
Well, I just thought that was a good idea, but apparently nobody else agrees with me. So they're going to end up paying Micah a fortune, but they haven't paid him yet. And according to one Micah Parsons, it's Jerry's fault.
Micah tweeted last night in responding to Shoddy saying he expects him to be there next week for the mandatory minicamp. Micah tweeted, "I will be there. I haven't missed minicamp in 4 years. Even though the contract is not done, I have teammates and a playbook. I'm preparing as if I will be on the field the first week of camp. But it's in the owner's hands. I'm ready to win a Super Bowl."
in the owner's hands, which is still Jerry Jones. Yeah, that could mean so many things, as you know. I mean, so is it Jerry just saying we're going to wait because I don't want to put the money in an escrow account right now? I'd rather have it in mine, or is it a dispute on terms? Maybe the guaranteed money, maybe the years of the contract. All of those things could be true.
I mean, all of it there. Now, I suggested yesterday maybe it's Micah and David Mulligetta where they're now waiting for T.J. Watt to get his deal done, because Jerry has said, especially in talking about Dak's deal, but it takes two to get a deal done. You know, when he got his deal done with Trayvon Diggs early, one of the things, Trayvon was ready to get it done. They were able to get that deal done early. And the one time he does get it done early, Diggs has been hurt essentially ever since. But if you go with what Micah tweeted last night, they're ready to sign. It's in Jerry's hands. But Jerry said at the owners' meetings a couple weeks ago that they had not talked in weeks. I still don't know if he knows who David Mulligetta is, because Jerry did say that at one point. But you know, if you believe Micah, who did show up yesterday for team picture, and says he will show up for the mandatory mini camp, doesn't mean he's going to do anything. And I'd be surprised if he went on the field. But everything about this tweet says a lot about where Micah Parsons is right now on a maturity level, about to become the leader of that defense with D-Law out of the building, because he has been there. Shoddy has talked about things that they've done outside of there. You know, the voluntary stuff. He's been traveling, doing this and that, but he typically has missed that. But he's never missed a mandatory minicamp, which also means he doesn't want to get fined and lose any money. But at the same time, for him contract's not done, but I'm showing up for my teammates. I have a playbook. So he's saying, if I'm interpreting this tweet, that I'm still studying my playbook, I'm still talking with my teammates, but I'm not stepping on that field until the contract is done. But I'm doing all this without it being done. I shouldn't do anything, because this is what you do when you're holding out for a contract. And he expects to be on the field, his words, on the field the first week of training camp, which is, to me, him giving Jerry a deadline on getting that deal done.
Well, absolutely, because he's not going to be on the field if he doesn't have the deal done. I mean, he won't. He's going to hold out. So I expect him to be on the field in some form or fashion next week. And he won't be playing or participating in anything, but I could see him being there as almost part of the coaching staff, watching and making sure he knows exactly where everything is and how it works. But he's not going to do any work. I would be shocked if Micah Parsons does any type of activity on the field next week.
I know they all understand the business side of football, and it's the one time an athlete is allowed to be selfish and put themselves in front of the team. But knowing Micah the way we do, just listening to him on all his podcasts and the couple times he's been on this show, I don't know if he could go out on that field and just watch. I mean, you've seen him when he's been hurt. Now, he might be in a meeting. He might be in the lunchroom. I don't even know if he goes out and watches, if he's standing off to the side, because he loves it too much to not grab his helmet and then and get in on the action. That's got to be the hardest part for a guy like Micah Parsons, who does love the game, wants to play the game. The business side is what it is. And all that talk about I don't have to be the highest paid that he was saying in season, obviously Mulligetta has talked some sense into him, because now he is sounding more like the business side, that he's got to be smart. But I don't even know if he could just go out there and stand off to the side and watch and be a part of the coaching staff and not get in on the action.
I see. I look at it completely opposite. I think, look, you tell them you're not going to participate anyway, but I want to be involved in what's going on. Now, I don't know if that's against the rules or not, and you know, will the coaching staff allow that? I'm sure they would. Or I don't know how all of that works, but I think Micah wants to be involved, and I think he wants to be in the mix and out there, you know, talking to his teammates. They don't allow full pads at minicamp. No. So it's none of that. But still, guys get hurt.
Yeah.
And so you can't be involved in that. So it's an ongoing thing. Hopefully it gets worked out sooner rather than later. I have a feeling it won't, just because of the Cowboys' track record.
And even though he's hurt, I don't even know if Trayvon Diggs is going to be there next week, because he's already, I think, going to lose about $500,000 of his base salary for not rehabbing at the team facility. He's got a de-escalator in his contract, according to Todd Archer, that he's got to take part in 84.375% of the offseason program to avoid a $500,000 de-escalator. He hasn't been there all offseason. And next week he could actually get fined if he's not there. Even though he's hurt, you're still required to show up.
But that's the team's discretion, right? The way I understand it at minicamp. Now, training camp, nobody has any choice. You're going to get fined, and that's the way it is. Team can't make that go away. I think minicamps, teams can still make that go away. I think that's the case. But look, Trayvon Diggs, I think the Cowboys want him to come back so he can show other teams that he's okay. Because I think Trayvon Diggs is out as a Dallas Cowboy.
Maybe, although I don't know if he can get traded right now. He can't pass a physical.
That's what I'm saying.
But Diggs, according to Archer, would be the first player who could see his base salary lowered if the Cowboys actually enforce the clause. And Shoddy said all the right things yesterday, but you could tell, like, dude, rehab with our doctors.
Yeah, what are you doing in Miami? I'm sure they're great doctors there in Miami. The scenery is fantastic too, but
you answered your own question.
Well, I get it, but is the scenery worth $500,000?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if anything is worth $500,000.
I mean, I imagine the boats that he's renting and the house that he's staying in is probably in that neighborhood.
I'm sure it's just fine, but $500,000. That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money. By the way, keep in mind, 5:15, the athletic director of UTSA will join us here on the Blitz. Lisa Campos is going to join us at 5:15, so don't forget about that. And we've also got some tickets to give away. Alice Cooper and Judas Priest are coming October 25th to the Germania Insurance Amphitheater. It's all part of their $30 summer. And I tell you what, that's a pretty good bill. I know who they are, and I would love to go to that concert.
Is this the Still Alive tour?
It is the Live Nation $30 ticket to summer. It doesn't say what tour it is. It says you can win a pair of tickets to see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest. I see where you're going with that.
Right over your head.
I got you. It just hit me.
The Still Alive tour.
Yeah. So
Alice Cooper
and I am
Judas
too,
Priest.
So, October 25th at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater. I think we should give those away right now as we go to the break. Why not, huh? 656-3776, 656-ESPN. You got a number in mind, Minix?
12.
All right, 12 sounds good in honor of Roger Staubach.
He's still alive.
He's still alive, and I wonder if he could still play.
With Alice Cooper and Judas Priest?
He could do that for sure. Yeah, no question about it. Oh, my goodness. We're going to continue here. Good luck to you, 656-3776, 656-ESPN. It's hump day on the Blitz. We'll continue right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Riding I-35 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
It is an all-Texas Women's College World Series, and it all gets underway tonight. The Texas Longhorns take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. First pitch set for 7 o'clock tonight. It will be televised, by the way, on ESPN. NBA news, the All-Star format is being tweaked again for next season. Commissioner Adam Silver announced today 2026 All-Star Game will showcase some version of Team USA versus the world.
Sports Center brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
And it's Hump Day!
Hump Day!
Happy Hump Day, everybody. Hopefully your Hump Day is going very well today. Ours is. At least mine is. I won't speak for you, Jason Minix, but
I'm alive.
Hump Day's going great. He is alive. Dude, right over. It went right over my head.
Right over your head.
Over you. Until I snapped, and I went,
Yeah.
That guy, he's a comedy guy. James Pledger is producing this show in the glass box of fun. A couple of things today, and I think it's going to be a daily thing, Minix. Greg Shelton tells us about his lunch day adventures. He came to the office again today.
It doesn't need to be. This is 2 days in a row, but this is a habit that needs to.
I think he wants to add content to this fine show.
It's true, although he didn't really have a good story today, not like yesterday, but he did confirm that the new Burger Boy by the radio station is open, which is good, although he said that, and he told this crazy story about, I think I was in line because the traffic was so bad, and there was some guy that was struggling to get his order, and he was in line he started at 20 minutes, then went to 15. Knowing Shelton, it was 3. But whatever, he was in line forever to get his burger today.
Well, he and Josie, his dog Josie, which is the station's dog, we kind of all claim her. She's a great dog.
Mm-hmm.
You asked him why he didn't go inside, and he said, well, Josie. And so he didn't want to leave her outside.
Didn't want to. Oh, and again, you think about, and I appreciate Greg Shelton. I do. But Josie eats no human food.
No.
Now, she comes by the office if we're having lunch, especially if it smells good, and it generally does, and she sits there, and she'll look at you, and you want to give her some, and Shelton doesn't like that. So, when Shelton's not around, you might sneak something.
You always do.
But, so he takes the dog in the truck to go to lunch, to order a burger and fries, to eat it in front of the dog and not share.
He had to have given the dog something.
The dog doesn't get any table food, any human food. He does not.
Oh, man.
So,
that's just cruel.
While it is nice of Gregory to take the dog for a ride in the middle of the day, that's fun for the dog until she realizes that dude is going to eat again in front of me, and, man, that smells good.
Yes.
That's torturing the dog.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I'm happy the Burger Boy's open. I might wait a little while and let the newness wear off before I head over there.
Well, true. Although generally, Burger Boy's pretty quick because they have people outside that were taking your order, and you don't have to wait till you get to the squawk box and go. But, yeah, I'm excited. Burger Boy.
I think Chick-fil-A kind of started all of that, didn't they, having people outside? Everybody does that now.
Everybody does it. First, I can't remember if the first time I saw somebody doing that was Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out. But either way, I'm glad they do. It makes things quicker.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Chick-fil-A is pretty damn quick. They really are. The other news today involves San Antonio's own Michelle Beadle. This is crazy news today. Michelle does a show on Sirius XM, right?
Yes.
Mad Dog Radio.
Mad Dog Radio.
And she found out she was being replaced by Stephen A. Smith by reading the article.
Yeah. She even joked, at least they told Tibbs, it's a cruel business.
It is.
And then, of course, that drops right before her show starts. And so her and Decker are referencing it. And she's like, it doesn't say, it says Stephen A. starts in September, so maybe we're on all summer, maybe we're not. They had no idea, apparently given no indication that they were being replaced till they read the article and went, that's our time slot.
That's our time slot. And she said, that it hurt her. You could tell it hurt her.
Oh.
And she said the only reason we're there here today is because we're contractually obligated to be here. So she did her show. And but yeah, it is a cruel business, but that's even a little more cruel than normal.
Boss probably didn't think it was going to get released, and granted, it wasn't. It was scooped by, as she referenced on her show, the Hollywood Reporter had it first, and that's where they saw it.
Well, I feel bad for Michelle Beadle. She's a very nice person, and she says all she wants to be is treated with respect, and I don't blame her. That's a pretty bad way to find out you're losing your job, to read it in an article. So she'll bounce back. She'll land on her feet. She's too good not to. So, but yeah, it's one of San Antonio's own. Man.
Absolutely. And again, it's a good show. Last time we saw Michelle was in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Last August, she was at the same event. We'll be at it again this August at Circa Las Vegas.
Wow.
And that's before September, so maybe we'll see her there.
You never know.
You never know.
We just booked those flights, didn't we?
We did.
Wow. Awesome.
We did.
Looking forward to that. Always nice.
Yes.
August in Las Vegas at Stadium Swim.
Yeah.
It will be shiny, without a doubt.
Getting ready for football season.
That's it. Yeah, well, sure.
Interesting football-related story. For whatever reason, Donovan McNabb did an interview with TMZ. They say, we caught up with the former Madden cover boy to talk about Saquon being on the cover. And what I find interesting, because Saquon is going to be on the cover, and, you know, there's all the video shoot. He was in a harness that they edited out to recreate the photo and all that. But Donovan McNabb, who was on the cover back in the day, said he does not believe about anything about the Madden cover curse. Although it says in here, McNabb, who underwent season-ending surgery to repair a sports hernia during his cover year, said he doesn't believe in that curse talk.
That's
I think it's part of the reason there is a curse.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? I mean, it's like kind of like, what? Come on, dude. Wow. Well, we'll see. Look, I don't want anything to happen to Saquon. Now, the Eagles can suck if they want to. That's fine, but I don't want Saquon to get hurt.
Well, you'd have to be pretty low to root for injury. But
it happens. Sometimes.
Rooting for injury?
Yes. I mean, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but if it happens, it's like, and it benefits you, it's like, well, it's a rough game. I mean, I don't root for it.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going that.
Well, I don't root for it, but I mean, if it happens and you're watching, oh,
I mean, as a Cowboy fan, if something happens and the Eagles aren't near as good, am I going to be upset? No.
No, exactly.
Just like I'm sure Eagle fans were devastated when Dak had a season-ending injury last year. I'm sure the compassion from Philly fan was just over the top. But nobody was rooting for Dak to get hurt.
Nobody's rooting for it.
I mean, that is a fan base that threw batteries at Santa and cheered when Michael Irvin hurt his neck in their stadium. But no, nobody roots for injury.
You got your butt kicked there, too, didn't you?
I did.
I'm sure they were laughing at that, too.
They were.
Because you're the one that went to jail.
Well, we didn't go to jail.
Well, the jail in the stadium.
We had to see the judge at the stadium at the old vet.
That tells you everything you need to know about Philadelphia when they've got a judge in the stadium to take care of you right there. They don't wait to get you downtown.
I got my ass kicked. I got kicked from behind while carrying beers. Hands were full. Granted, I was wearing a Cowboys jersey, an Emmitt Smith jersey. Cowboys and Eagles were playing. I get kicked from behind while carrying beers, and then 4 dudes just were kicking the crap out of me. I had no chance, right? None whatsoever. Then I get in trouble for getting into a fight, and I was like, I didn't fight. Didn't get in trouble for underage drinking or buying beer underage there.
They don't care about that.
They don't care about that.
No, of course not.
But I got a ticket for fighting. It's like I didn't fight.
So did you mail that ticket in, or did you have to go see the judge somewhere else?
Oh, you see the judge right there.
Oh, and you had to pay it there?
Yeah, well, you don't pay it there, but you get your citation. Then you've got, 14 days to mail it in.
A jail? And does the new ballpark have a judge?
I have no idea. It's Philly, I would imagine, but fortunately, I haven't been there.
Well, next time, let's wear that Emmitt Smith jersey and see what happens. I'll have the camera out, ready to go.
Well, I'll be in Emmitt, and you'll be in Troy, and we'll see.
Emmitt and Troy together again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I love Philadelphia.
The NBA All-Star Game, I tell you what, the NBA is trying desperately to make this thing watchable and interesting to people. And Adam Silver has an idea. He talked about it today. We'll hear from the commish when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, it's now June. Your air conditioner is going to start working overtime. If you have a problem with your AC, you know there's one company to call. Same if you have a problem with your plumbing, and that is Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. Now, if your AC hasn't been tuned up in a while, now's the time to take advantage of the Lucky 7's AC tune-up for just $77 that Quarter Moon is running right now for a limited time. You can hit the jackpot with comfort with a 7-point AC inspection that will keep your system running cool and smooth. As for plumbing issues, emergencies with your AC, at Cordamoon, they are full service. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. So call Quartermoon at 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at Walmart.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You know, the NBA's been trying for a long time to make the All-Star game relevant. And I guess for a while when the dunk contest first came out, three-point shooting contest first came out, it was all that was new and it was fresh and it was good. And then it just got kind of stale. And ever since then, they've been trying to figure out what to do to make this thing interesting. And what they tried last year flopped big time.
It did. It's interesting because I think one of the things with All-Star Weekend, when the superstars stopped competing in the skills competition, especially the slam dunk contest, and defense disappeared completely in the All-Star game, it's just become, I don't know. But also the times, back in the 80s when you didn't have a gazillion channels and social media and other things to do, it was there, right? But the stars played, and the bonus money was worthy. Now, the bonus money for winning is, in some cases, and we're talking about all-stars, less than a normal game check. So the financial incentives aren't what it used to be either, and it's just bad. I think all the all-star games are bad. Hockey last year, though, they turned their all-star game into something really cool, a little mini tournament. They called it Four Nations, and it was great. If you were a hockey fan, you were into it. Even some non-hockey fans were watching because you were rooting for Team USA, and it was compelling, and it was competitive. And Adam Silver, smart guy, saw what hockey did, and they haven't figured out the format yet, but he said next year's All-Star game will be USA versus the world.
Next year, as part of our new media deals, the All-Star game returns to NBC, where it was when we were younger. And it so happens that next season will be smack in the middle of the Winter Olympics. So, in fact, the game will be on NBC, and the very day we're on, the lead-in will be Winter Olympic events, and then coming out of the All-Star game, which is now going to be in the afternoon instead of the evening, there'll be more Olympic events. So what better time to feature some form of USA against the world? I'm not exactly sure what the format will be yet. I mean, obviously paid a lot of attention to what the NHL did with the...
Which was a huge success.
Which was a huge success.
The Frozen Four. That was awesome. It was great.
But also, going back, last summer, our Olympic competition was a huge success.
Now, obviously, hockey has some work to do. Frozen Four is what they call the college hockey tournament, like the Final Four. But it was Four Nations. But the guys on FS1, it's still hockey, right? It's new to a lot of people. And Stanley Cup starts tonight, by the way, Game 1, Florida and Edmonton. But with the Olympics there, that would be the perfect timing to try something different. But I don't know that they could do the mini tournament. Hockey was able to get away with it. I don't know that the NBA would do that, but some sort of USA versus the world All-Star game would be kind of interesting.
So you're gonna line up everybody from the U.S. against everybody that's from Europe or Canada or everywhere else. I mean, are there enough American players still that you can do that? And I would say at this point in time, I think Europe, the world would kick the USA's butt.
It's kind of interesting. The last 7 MVPs are not from the United States. So you wonder, do we really want this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, do we go North America? So at least SGA could be on Team USA, North America? I don't know. I'd be curious to see what kind of format. But then... Now, there's still, I mean, the United States still won the gold medal in the Olympics.
Right.
Right? But if you took Team USA that won the gold medal at the Olympics against a collection of the best from everybody else, I don't know that Team USA wins that gold medal.
I don't think they do at all. And I think they might get their butt kicked if that happens. Because you're right, all the good players kind of scattered out in the Olympics. And this time you'd have them all lining up together. Can you imagine the lineup that would come out of that thing?
Let's see. You got Giannis, Joker, and Wemby.
Right there alone. I mean, that would be tough to do anything against. And then if Canada's not involved in the USA, then you got SGA over there as well. That would be tough, man. I don't know. But I like what Adam Silver's trying. He knows his product sucks. I mean, the NFL knows their product sucks when it comes to the Pro Bowl. It's just not very good. Even baseball, I don't know, baseball's baseball, but even that's not very good and not very interesting. So at least he's being proactive with this thing, and I'm happy about that. But again, I mean, he's got to know as well as anybody, that there are a lot of good European players in the NBA right now.
A lot. Now, granted, what side does Joel Embiid play on? Because he was on the Team USA team.
Yeah. He'll be hurt anyway, so I don't know if he'll play with anybody.
It's good. That's a good point. I mean, but I don't know. I like the idea, but again, I think about the international players, and I'll never forget, because I used to get mad when those guys, Tony and Manu, would go play in the summer because I didn't want them to get hurt. But I remember vividly when Manu said that gold medal means more to him than his NBA trophies. And that's when I realized, just from a person standpoint, for them what it means. So Team USA, I know it means something to those guys, obviously, but in an all-star game that never has defense and it's never competitive, I think Team USA would have that mentality, but I think the international guys would be like, dude, we're competing for our country. And they would treat all-star game differently than the Americans would.
Well, look, I think that pride thing, that word you just brought up, I think is the key. I think guys would play. And I think that's why you see these NFL guys wanting to play in the Olympics. I mean, they never thought that they would get that opportunity, and it's flag football, but I think they want to do it, and you represent your country, and I think that pride is makes all the difference in the world. My issue is just going to be, can you make the teams even? And that's going to be the problem with the NBA schedule when you're talking about USA versus the world. Making both teams competitive, because as I see it right now, and I could be missing some guys and maybe missing the boat a little bit, but as far as I'm concerned, I think the world would it wouldn't even be competitive.
No, I wonder, when you think about the world, it's one thing when you're playing for your country's flag. Is it different when you're playing for, I don't know, it says world on Europe or whatever it might say? It's not your flag, not your country's colors. I wonder if that would affect the mentality of some of these guys. But, you know, Wemby wearing that French national jersey and how devastated he was when they lost. Or, you know, you think about Patty Mills and, you know, how he loves his country and the flag and everything that it represents. This Team USA versus the world doesn't have that same flag, but they get to beat the United States, and you know damn well they'd want to do that.
Well, look, I think they would, and I think the Euros, or the world, I guess as we're calling it, would take that pride just because they want to take over the NBA, which they're doing. And look, the NBA is allowing them to do that. It's kind of like the NFL with all these games overseas. You want that money, and there's interest. And I think now there is a huge interest, and the NBA wants to appeal to that as well and get some of that money, even though they're doing it now. But you talk about French players and what basketball has blown up over there, and what Joker's doing for his country and the game of basketball. And I think the interest and the money is so great that I think it's a no-brainer to appeal to those folks. And you had this conversation this morning. Is the NBA, do they care whether it's an American that is the face of the NBA anymore? Or because of that and the appeal overseas, is it okay for a Joker or a Wemby or somebody from Europe to be the face of the NBA?
You know, I that's a great question. There are multiple faces of the NBA, and right now it's still LeBron and probably Steph as the top. But you go back to Yao Ming and what he did for the NBA over in China.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at a player like Joker, speaks good English, can be in commercials. Wemby speaks good English, can be in commercials. So Luka the same way. So you've got players that can be marketed in the United States and overseas, where to a degree, Yao Ming was pretty limited in how he could be marketed in the United States outside of just being a giant human being. You look at a guy like Boban in the national marketing that he's been able to do. So I don't know that it matters because the game is trying to go international, and those can be successful endorsers in whatnot in the U.S., but also in the countries they're from.
Absolutely, and there's just too much money involved overseas to not market it that way. And I just think that's what you're seeing now. And I always tell you the story of the first championship. They had tournaments. I mean, I guess it was a long 26 years ago, but they had tournaments. So you win an NBA championship, and that NBA champion went overseas, and you had a tournament with the Euro Leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy, and that was a big deal. And then all of a sudden, you see the influx of European players coming in, and it's certainly changed. There's no question about that.
I don't think for the majority of the Spurs championship run that most in San Antonio or the United States realized how big of a megastar Tony Parker was in France, or how big of a megastar Manu was in Argentina. We knew they were stars, but not to the level. And you talk about that trip because you went on it, seeing everything that, was so Tony Parker driven, where here he was number 3 of the big 3. But over there, Tony Parker, and now you see it now in his influence with Wemby and everything that he is doing over there. You take the biggest soccer star, and then you add, the one right next to him is Tony Parker. And with Manu, same thing. It's Messi and Manu. I mean, and holy cow.
No, Tony Parker is a certified rock star in France. I mean, he is. And Wemby's that way as well. And so those folks get behind it. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's a good idea, and I'm glad that Adam Silver's thinking outside the box and trying to fix this thing. But it's going to take some work to figure out exactly how that can be done.
Although, to your point, now Claymore on our YouTube says Steph and LeBron would still play for USA. Don't get it twisted. The Americans would still win that. But you know what? I have my doubts.
Yeah, I do too.
You know what that does? That makes me want to watch an All-Star game for the first time, and I don't know how long if they were able to put this together.
I just would want the Team USA not to get embarrassed, and that's what I'd be worried about. Yes, LeBron and Steph, you have Ant, and then you go down the list. I guess Tyrese Halliburton could be in that, but I don't know, man. I just there's a lot of good European players in the NBA right now, and they've kind of taken over that star power when it comes to NBA basketball. So good idea, and again, I applaud Adam Silver for trying to get that done. But we'll see what happens and what format he takes. We'll see what format the Cowboys take with Micah Parsons still going OTAs at the Star in Frisco. Haven't heard if Mike is there today. He was there yesterday for the team picture day. Haven't heard if he's there today, but he had a message for one Jerry Jones today. We'll talk about it when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And I got a message for you guys. If you're lacking energy, you need to go to the website fixmylowt.com. If you think about it, it's summertime. You got things that you want to do, vacations that you're going to go on, activities with the family. You don't want low testosterone draining your energy. That's simple to fix. Get TRT with Synergenics and Low T Center. Go to fixmylowt.com to book your first appointment. You can trust the experts. Synergenics and Low T Center have been changing patients' lives for a combined 25 years. They understand what guys need. They're in person, and they make it easy to get started with the quality of care you deserve. Now, you see all those online TRT services. Those can be a hassle and expensive, and then you got to spend so much time waiting on unreliable test kits. Then you wait days for lab results, and that's before you even begin treatment. They say you see a doctor, sometimes that dude isn't even on a screen. Not who you really want to trust your health to. At Synergenics, it is right now is a great time to get started because the consultation is free, the T-test is free, and it's fast. They have an on-site lab to process your test quickly, and if you qualify, you can start treatment that day. They've got locations conveniently located across San Antonio, and you get the choice. That white glove in-center care or medically monitored custom dose TRT at home. And for guys just looking to lose a few pounds, Synergenics and Low T Center, they make that easy with prescription weight loss medication. And you'll receive a free B12 shot on the same day. Most major insurances are accepted, so you have no excuse. Go right now and book your first appointment. FixMyLowT.com. That's FixMyLowT.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, we got a small Friday, and it is packed for you. How about NBA Finals Game 1? Did the Thunder blow them out of the water? And We get to talk about Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final as well. Hockey at its peak. Morning Huddle. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Looking for a place with character, cold drinks, and real Texas charm? Pull up a chair at the Lion and Rose in the Dominion. This local favorite, run by the Tharp family, serves up Southern hospitality, military pride, and seriously good food. Happy hour daily from 3 till 7 p.m. with $2.50 drafts, select wine, wells, and mimosas. Plus, tasty bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Now open at 23330 West I-10. The Lion and Rose.
Vacation mode? Check. Don't forget your furry friend. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit in Selma offers daycare, boarding, grooming, and more. Discounts for military teachers and first responders. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit, where pets play, stay, and feel at home.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
But what he'll never have is the love I have for you.
What He'll Never Have, the smash hit from Dylan Scott, appears on the brand new album, Easy Does It. The album also features the #1 song, This Town's Been Too Good to Us.
This town's been too good to us.
And Till I Can, I Will.
I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, believe me when I say till I can, I will.
Dylan Scott. Search, follow, and listen now on all music streaming services. Sponsored by Curb Records.
The water coming in and out of your home is like music. Here in San Antonio in the Hill Country, it is hard. Now that's hard. At the same time, those that know have a Connecticut quality water softener and enjoy this. Smooth, soft, pure, clean water. The difference is astounding. Hard water? Soft water. If you don't have a Connecticut water softener in your home, you're basically inviting destructive hard water to beat up your appliances, hot water heater, and every pipe in your home. And your coffee maker? Hard water damages it too. Call me for a free home water evaluation at 656 Pure.
For a limited time, get a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months. Call Connecticut of San Antonio in the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE.
Connecticut is simply the very best water softener you can buy, and that's why we say it's the last water softener you'll ever own. Don't live with. Live with
656 Pure Connecticut.
License number 38961.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Cowboys, another negotiation as we extend that into the summer, and then who knows how long. Micah Parsons is the one this time around, and, of course, this is the third year in a row. We've been talking about this, started with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and now Micah Parsons. We'll see if and when that gets done, and obviously when it gets done. I think if is a is a big word, but it will get done. It's just a matter of what happens and what will Micah do and sacrifice and all of those kind of things.
One of the things that I suggested yesterday when we were talking about the Micah showing up, and there was it was a topic again yesterday, and it will be all summer until it's not, because that means the deal is done. But Shotty was asked about Micah Parsons being there next week, and he said he expects him to because that's what Micah said. And there was, obviously, that was, of all the things that Brian Schottenheimer talked about yesterday, that was the headline, Micah expected to be at mandatory minicamp, which is a story because without a contract, he could skip that. Micah saw the story and, quote, tweeted it and said, I will be there. I haven't missed a minicamp in 4 years. Even though the contract is not done, I have teammates and a playbook. I'm preparing as if I will be on the field the first week of camp, but it's in the owner's hands. I'm ready to win a Super Bowl.
Well, that's like shots fired, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a direct message to Jerry Jones right there. And look, if you believe Micah, and you choose either way, but if you believe Micah, he's saying, look, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to sign, but it's the owner that's holding up the works.
Now, that could also mean a lot of things, because I suggested yesterday, because Jerry has often said, and Dak hasn't refuted it, Dak has to be willing to sign too. Micah might be willing to sign his number, but is that the number Jerry is offering? The negotiations at the owners' meetings, Jerry said that they hadn't talked in several weeks. So who knows? But Micah checks all the boxes on this tweet. This, of all the tweets that Micah has had, some we've hammered him for, others, this one, he commits, he's going to be there, hasn't missed. Cool. Contract's not done, but I'm still going because I'm going to be there. I have teammates and a playbook. That's a direct message that I'm not there, but I'm still studying the new playbook that Eberflus has. I've got my teammates. I'm a team leader. I'm going to be there for those guys. I'm preparing as if I will be on the field the first week of camp. To me, Jerry, you have a deadline.
He's got a deadline, but there could be so many things. What I find funny, Jason, is the fact that, we get a tweet, 6 weeks ago, that they got a handshake deal. Everything is ready to go. We've discussed this, Micah and Jerry, and everything's ready to go. We got a handshake deal. We go from that to what we are today, which is, it's in the owner's hands. And so I don't know how we get from that place where we have a deal, we have a handshake deal between the two of us, to this place where we are today. I mean, it seems very odd and very strange, unless there was never a handshake deal, and that was just what was leaked out of the Cowboys front office.
Well, if I remember correctly, because Clarence Hill reported that, had the interview with Micah, and you go back and all the different stories that Micah said that they'd met, wants to be involved, but he's not signing a deal without David Mulligetta's blessing and David Mulligetta being involved. That's when you got the Jerry, I don't even know his agent's name. Which is total crap. David Mulligetta is one of the top agents in the NFL, and there are a number of Mulligetta clients on the Cowboys roster. And so I don't know. It's in the owner's hands. Where is Jerry? I don't know how all this works, honestly. Does Mulligetta have to call Jerry's assistant and get time on the calendar? Does Jerry send him a link and you could see the available times you could get together on a meeting? Steven, is it, deals like this, generally Jerry, and Jerry doesn't like to work with agents. He likes to have the player and him in the same room. All that's there. Cool. It's just one of those, Shereen Williams thinks from Pro Football Talk that soon as Jerry signs that, he's got to put money in escrow, and Jerry doesn't like to do that. That's why he always pushes these down until the last minute. There's probably some truth into that. Or the offer that the Cowboys have and the offer that Micah wants to sign, or the counter, they haven't agreed on that yet, handshake or not. Because, again, if they had a handshake, all the little things that got to get worked out, you read about Trayvon Diggs. He's got some de-escalators in his contract. Cowboys like to do de-escalators. Maybe Mike is trying to get a de-escalator out of his contract.
It could be. It could be he wants a shorter contract than Jerry wants to give him. He wants more guaranteed money than Jerry wants to give him. It could be a lot of little things like that Jerry's just not going to budge on. I get the whole escrow thing, and I think there are some teams out there that might have a problem coming up with that money. I don't think Jerry Jones is one of them. And again, I don't know what kind of interest he makes by keeping that in his bank account, whether putting it in the escrow account and that kind of money you're talking about. Well, there'd be quite a bit of interest there. So I guess I could see that. But I just, for Jerry, I don't think it's an issue with the money. For the Cincinnati Bengals, it's an issue, I think. I think some teams are a lot more cash poor than others. But I don't see that with Jerry Jones. So if it's as simple as that, I guess that makes some kind of sense, but I don't know why, unless you just like the publicity, good or bad, that why you would be dragging this on and not get it done. Because Jerry could make this all go away and say, bam, we're ready to go. We've done some great things in the offseason, and we're ready to win a Super Bowl. None of this nonsense hanging on. It's time to get to business.
Except for that's just not the way the Cowboys do business. And we can all disagree with the way the Cowboys like to do their business or the reasons why. Because ultimately, these deals always get done. I mean, can you think of one that ultimately didn't get done? And even Dak's first deal, where he got tagged twice, Jerry still, when you talk to him about it, thinks he won that deal. The rest of us think he got just murdered in that deal.
Been over, yeah.
But Jerry wanted a certain number of years, and Jerry got the number of years that he wanted on that first deal. 2 of them were just on the tag. Jerry feels like he won that.
Yeah, and he probably feels like he won the CD Lamb deal as well. Look, I don't know. I don't know what happens to the negotiations in there. And know what I was impressed with Jerry when it came to Dak by tagging him twice.
Yeah,
and then he ends up giving Dak everything he wants anyway.
Yeah.
So twice, in fact, the first deal and this one. So it's funny to me how they operate and what Jerry's reasons are. It's hard to criticize him because he's been such a successful businessman. I mean, he knows how to conduct business. But in this world of NFL, players and contracts, there's so much that goes into that I can't even imagine the fine print. And you talked about the de-escalators with Trayvon Diggs. I mean, how many of those little clauses are in some of these contracts?
And there's probably a gazillion of them that most of us don't ever know about. And that's fine. We don't need to know every detail. I mean, you look at this Diggs de-escalator, it's like 84.375% of the offseason.
Who figures that out?
Well, that's what I mean. I just wonder, how many days of the offseason are you supposed to be here? And there's maybe, I don't know, 4 days that you can miss and still hit that number. I don't know, right? It's bizarre, but what do you do? I just don't understand for Jerry, what is the upside for delaying these things? Other than the escrow money, but at the very least, it doesn't feel like they've met. Now, he was in the building yesterday. We know that for the team photo. Don't know if he was there today. I don't think the media is allowed today. So who knows if he's there today or what he might be doing. But I wish Jerry would honestly say what is the upside. When you and I have talked with Stephen Jones about some of these things before, he just always talks about how complicated these are to get done. And that's true. I'm sure they're very complicated when you're talking about this kind of money and all the different things that are in there. It's complicated, but it doesn't get less complicated if you're not communicating. That's part of the negotiations, and that's the part it doesn't even feel like right now there are any ongoing negotiations. They talked early in the offseason, and by all accounts, the Cowboys and Mulligetta, the Cowboys and Micah, as far as his contract is concerned, they haven't in recent weeks.
Well, I find it interesting, and you brought up Stephen Jones. Some of the reporters there saw that he was getting visibly irritated by some of the questions about Micah Parsons, and I wonder what that means. I mean, we could read into that in a whole lot of different ways. But is he frustrated with the negotiations? Is he frustrated that, I don't know, Micah won't come off of something they want him to come off of? Or is it just something that they haven't gotten it done? Because I have to believe that Steven wants to get this done. And they want to get it done to the Cowboys' benefit, and you can't blame them for that. Micah wants to get it done to his benefit. You can't blame him for that either. But the fact that there were a couple of different reporters tweeting out that Steven was actually visibly irritated with all the questions about Micah, he's tired of hearing about it.
Well, aren't you tired of talking about it?
Well, sure.
I mean, I think the frustration level is all the way through. And again, if you're Steven, are you frustrated because negotiations are happening and we're just unaware of it and they're not going the way you want? Or Daddy has told you, don't do this until August, so we can get, an entire summer of talk about the Dallas Cowboys, even though it makes us look like idiots, but they're talking about us. And Jerry's philosophy, good, bad, as long as you're a part of the conversation, be fair. That's all Jerry ever cares, as long as you're fair. He doesn't mind criticism as long as you're fair.
Sure. And I think it's fair to criticize Jerry if it is Jerry. And I think it's fair to say, is it Micah's issue? Because we always rush to blame Jerry. It's always Jerry's fault, and I'm not sure that that's always the case. Back to Trayvon Diggs for a minute, losing $500,000 because he's in Miami, and they're upset that he's not here or at the Star in Frisco. $500,000 to what Trayvon Diggs makes is a drop in the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really is. So I'm not sure if that sways him or not. The issue with him is going to be, number one, where is he really? Is he afraid to come to the Star to let those doctors rehab him? Is he not doing as well as he says? Is he doing a little bit better? Because I think the Cowboys would like to see him, see where he's at, and see if he's tradable.
Next week is mandatory, so they'll be there. I don't know if he's anywhere close to being tradable, honestly, right now, because he couldn't pass a physical. And when is he expected to be back on the field? I think they just want to see him. Now, I could understand. Do you want to be in Frisco right now or in Miami right now? I get. And
I'd rather be in Miami.
If you've got the option, I think we would all choose Miami, especially if we could afford to, have a second home in Miami or rent a big old Airbnb. And, if he's partying it all like his brother, I think most of us would like a boat ride like that.
Sure.
With the scenery that was on set.
Absolutely.
You can't do that in Frisco.
Well, I don't know. There's shiny things in Frisco.
There's not a lake. There's not it's not Miami.
I know that.
I mean.
Shiny things, though.
Now, I will say, Miami's hot and humid, too, and it rains every day at 3 o'clock.
It does. You set your watch by it.
I'm trying to think if they said, boys, you don't have to come to work anymore. They did that once, but we were relegated to the kitchen table. But if they could tell us, hey, you guys, doesn't matter where you're doing the show from, just make sure you're logged on by 2 o'clock.
Right.
Where would we be?
Well,
not here.
Well, probably your kitchen table.
Not. I don't even know there. Although, depends. But do the show from wherever. I'd probably, I don't know, Rockport, Port A.
Yeah, summertime.
Somewhere near the ocean.
That would be nice.
Belize.
Sure.
There are lots of places, although we probably wouldn't have a show for very long if they gave us that kind of freedom.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And we'd be spending a lot of money that.
Well, again, I'm just saying if we had Trayvon Diggs kind of money.
Oh, well, sure. Then we could go anywhere. Look, I get it, but it is costing him. I don't care how much money you make. $500,000 is a lot of money. And you got to write that check, or it comes out of your paycheck, or however they do that.
If they take it out of your paycheck and they spread it out over the season, do you even notice it?
Well, I wouldn't do that if I'm Jerry. I'm taking the whole thing out of that paycheck.
I don't know what the CBA rules say.
Wow. I would. I'd take the whole thing out because I want him to know that it cost you $500,000, not spread out over 12 months or whatever the case may be. But oh man.
Well, what do they get? 17 game checks,
right?
And they've got to be able to take that money and make it last. That's one of the hardest things about NFL players, especially those that aren't making money like Diggs. You talk to some of these guys that were in the league for a couple, 3 years making minimums, you get all that money on a paycheck. And I think they get paid, or they used to get paid on Thursdays. I know Datwin used to talk about this with a lot of the young guys. You get a big old check on Thursday. And then you don't have that money coming in March and April.
Yeah, you got to save some of that stuff. Yeah, make sure it's still there on Monday when you get back. Oh, man. That's look, a lot of guys are like that. I see a lot of guys that NIL money. That should be a part of what they do, and they should have people like that. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. The drama will continue in Dallas, as it always does. There's always something there to talk about. We could have some drama right here in San Antonio when it comes to Kevin Durant and the escapades that will take place between now and the NBA draft. And don't forget, coming up at 5:15, Lisa Campos is going to join us, UTSA's athletic director. Before we take a break, though, you ought to be thinking about golf this weekend. You really should be, because it's going to be a great weekend by all intents and purposes. And, well, it's just time to get out and play some golf, man. That's what I want to do every single weekend. I can't wait to get the sticks out and go play some golf. And the best place to do that is the Golf Club of Texas. Love that place out there. And the improvements that they've made to the Golf Club of Texas are just second to none. They have really put a little time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money into that golf course to make it what it is now. Resided everything, brand new golf cart paths all over the place. And they've got some zero-scape areas that really just kind of pop. You know what I mean? They just pop, and it makes things look really, really good. In fact, you might think when you go out there that it's a swanky country club. Well, it's swanky, all right, but it's not a country club. It's open to the public 7 days a week, and, well, the people out there are just as nice as they can be. And let me tell you about the food at the Tin Cup Bar and Grill. That place is awesome. You walk in there, you get a cold beer, cocktail, whatever you want, and any kind of food that you want. It's delicious, and it's not going to break the bank. The Golf Club of Texas is a great place to go. You ought to head out there this weekend, or don't wait for the weekend. Head out there tomorrow, for goodness sake. You know exactly where it is. It's right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. Whether you're headed out for dinner at the Tin Cup or around with your buddies, maybe you want to have your next tournament out there, go check them out. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
6 for 6, and the Aggies have the lead.
Your home for Aggies football. KTFM Floresville.
Nigel, why does our office look like a casino?
I call it employee engagement.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky Sevens AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk. Joel, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing AC and Heating for your Lucky Sevens AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 five-star reviews on Google. So, who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the All-Star format in the NBA being tweaked again. Not sure exactly how that's going to be. The Commissioner, Adam Silver, did announce it today that the 2026 All-Star Game will showcase some version of Team USA versus the world. And we got a big game tonight in the College World Series for the women. Gets underway, a Battle of Texas. The Longhorns taking on the Red Raiders. First pitch set for 7 o'clock on ESPN.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
And it's Hump Day!
Hump Day!
It's a Wednesday. Here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Thank you all for spending a little time with us on this Wednesday. Hump Day. It is a great day. You having a good day, Pledge?
I love that camel.
He is.
Is that an answer?
I think it is. He likes the camel, too.
He's having a camel-loving Wednesday?
I said camel, too, by the way, in case anybody's concerned.
Toe Reinagel?
Yeah, how about you, Minix? You having a good day?
Good day, man.
Good day. Well, I am too, and it's, a lot going on, and what I like about this time of year, and it's always something, but it's going to get better, because I think we're going to have a lot of drama involving the San Antonio Spurs and the entire NBA between now and June 25th when the NBA draft takes place.
And really with the Spurs, it's in, city council chambers and what's happening on boardrooms and trades that could happen. That city council meeting is still going on.
What the hell are they talking about?
I have no idea. That's why I'm glad I don't have to cover news.
Oh, man.
But Matt Roy from News 4 will join us at 5:35 to give us the latest. His brain's got to be mush at this point, but he had to step out to do a live hit on news. I guess they do that at 5.
Probably had to step out to wake up. I mean, I've been to some of those city council meetings and school board meetings, and man, you got they'll put you to sleep, for goodness sake.
Back in the day when you had to do that, young reporters,
That's
yeah,
right.
that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad we do this because we get to have fun. Interesting Sports Center on Twitter just tweeted this out. It's a great question.
Really is.
Sports Center tweeted out, NBA Finals start tomorrow. Who's the one player you wish won an NBA championship before retiring?
That is a great question and a good topic. And when you said that, I immediately thought of Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
But you had a better answer, I think.
I don't know if it's better. It's different. George Gervin.
Man.
The Iceman. And partly, I'm not old enough to remember the 79 Eastern Conference Finals. But George has told me some stories about that, and even Mike Gale had to wear, remember there was a problem with their uniforms at one point, and he's like on the cover of Sports Illustrated with his jersey inside out because it was, I guess, Washington's.
Yeah.
Dan Cook developed his famous saying during that series.
It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
I mean, and Danny Ferry turned out the lights, and Danny admitted to that. His dad, Bob, was the GM of the Washington team at the time, and, Danny admitted to turning out the lights, and that completely flipped that series. But George Gervin, the Iceman, I wish that man had a championship ring. Hall of Famer, but did not win a title.
And one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. I love that guy. He is fantastic. But interesting, because there's a lot of good players that never won a ring. Darius Bieber brings up Tracy McGrady. There's another one. Reggie Miller.
Another one. Vince Carter. Gary Payton.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, we could go through a list, but I'd still, Chuck, I just think Charles Barkley, although it wouldn't be funny anymore because that's what they still give him, they still razz him about.
It's funny because you bring that up, and well, one of the things that it's the words I'm looking for with TNT's show going away, all these clips that are all over social media about the best moments with Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
And as soon as you bring that up, I just watched this clip, I don't know, last night, yesterday at some point, but he was ragging on Paul George, calling him, how do they call him Playoff P if he never wins in the playoff? They don't call me Championship Chuck. And you know what? If he had a ring, he'd be Championship Chuck.
He would be. Because his style, man, was just so cool. Round mound to rebound. That guy was one of those physical dudes. But that's a great question, and to tweet that out. What do you guys think? Steve Nash, CJ says on our YouTube page.
I'm kind of glad Steve Nash doesn't have one because there might have been a hip check from Robert Horry that allowed the Spurs to get one that probably should have gone to Phoenix.
Well, it was at the series where Robert Horry knocked him into the third row.
Yeah. And what's his name had a foot on the court, and he came off the bench and went onto the floor and got suspended.
Yeah, that's right.
I honestly, I think the Suns were the better team in that series.
They may have been, but Lady Luck was on the side of the Spurs there. I will never forget that Steve Nash, Robert Horry situation. I mean, Horry actually knocked. Nash flew.
Oh yeah, it was a hockey hip check.
It was. He flew into the first row. Man, it was fantastic, and just a lot of fun. There's a lot of good memories, aren't there, when it comes to the Spurs championship runs and how they did it and what all happened. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to get back to that, Jason.
I would too.
I really would. That whole championship run, playoffs. It'd be nice to be talking about the Spurs in Game 1 tomorrow night against Indiana.
Coming soon.
I hope so. And there could be a Kevin Durant sighting in San Antonio coming soon, according to a lot of reports today.
Hey, look, the gazillion reports out there, Phoenix going to be aggressive in trying to move him. Apparently have lowered the asking price, whatever that means. Cool. Is there interest between Kevin Durant and San Antonio? Again, going with a variety of reports, reputable national reporters saying, yes, Spurs are interested. More importantly, Kevin Durant is interested. Now, there is a talk show host on ESPN 98.7 in Phoenix, John Gambadero.
You're that guy.
Yeah. Now, in talking about Houston, I don't know, John. In talking about Houston, this dude's like, dude, we got to talk about San Antonio.
Keep your eye on the Spurs. That KD could have some interest in the Spurs. That might be a good landing spot for him, with Fox and Wembanyama and an up-and-coming team on the rise that has a great defensive anchor to their team and a terrific young player in Castle. And I start to pick the brains of some of the people I'm speaking with and what could they get? So, the key player coming back if they were to do a deal with San Antonio, as we just discussed, I'm not reporting this, but you might have to take Harrison Barnes back to make the money work, but then could you get Devin Vassell, who's a really good player?
Or
Good
Devin
you got to
Vassell.
get young assets back. And the thing with Vassell, with San Antonio, or Jalen Green with Houston is that they're two guards. And you can sit there, you don't want a guy who plays the same position as Booker. But, you might have to. You might have to take back somebody who plays the same position. You need to get younger talent. I'm not guaranteeing this, but I would expect that the deal, a KD deal, would happen right before the draft. Because you'd want to include draft capital in any deal. So I think that a Kevin Durant trade would come up this month, sometime before the draft, probably close to the draft if it's going to happen.
Well, and that's interesting that he says that because Shams Charania tweeted out not too long ago that those talks for Kevin Durant are going to intensify starting now, and that there's 4 to 6 teams that could be interested, and one of those teams, of course, is the San Antonio Spurs. So the KD sweepstakes are going to get interesting. They are.
Depending on the price, I'm all for it. I know, Joe, you've been against Kevin Durant because he's old and he's expensive, but dude played 36 minutes a game, 43% three-point shooter, and he played in 62 games last year. It's not like he missed half the season or had a lot of rest days on a bad team, too.
Yeah, I just think that I just want to build a team. And I'm not talking about building from the draft, and so don't accuse me of flip-flopping everybody. But I'm talking about bringing in some De'Aaron Fox-type players that have played and that can improve this team right away and improve the holes that they currently have. And that's what I'm talking about. I think KD is just another Chris Paul in my mind, and you bring him in for 1 year, 2 years, and that's the issue that I have with that. So
I thought Chris Paul was good for San Antonio.
Well, sure.
I think Kevin Durant will be great for San Antonio.
We will see if that happens. And if it happens, then we can.
Come on, BW, get it done.
You can say, I told you so.
Man,
You'd love to say that. Absolutely, you would. Hey, we need to take a break because we got a special guest coming up. Lisa Campos is going to join us, the UTSA Athletic Director. Lots to talk with Lisa about, including their baseball team who's headed to the Super Regionals against UCLA this weekend. Lisa Campos joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
One more day until the NBA Finals get underway. You got Game 1 of the Stanley Cup tonight. Lots of baseball as well. You want to add excitement to watching? Make sure you're playing on Underdog. Go yard all baseball season with Underdog's Pick'em game, where all you have to do is download the app, and you can play for as little as $1. And in the Pick'em game, you're choosing higher or lower on predicted stats with baseball, home runs, strikeouts, total bases, that sort of thing. It's so much fun to play. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars, and Underdog is one of the leading places to make all your sports picks. So download the Underdog app. Sign up with my promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, use promo code STAR at Underdog. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See UnderdogFantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
They will, trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the 2 cats you've had, one of them's
dead.
dead.
How dare you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You wouldn't bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch.
Hi. My name's Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney and have been representing people injured in auto and commercial truck collisions right here in San Antonio, my hometown, since 1994. Getting into a collision can be a life-altering event. Your health and recovery is the only thing that really matters, and anyone that's ever been injured in a traffic collision will tell you that. How do you get the insurance company to pay? Simple. Call me. As your attorney, my job is to get you through this. The decisions you make immediately after a collision are the most important decisions you can make. If you call me as soon as you can after a collision, I will help you make the right decisions for you and your family. Remember, I do not charge for a consultation. Growing up on the southwest side of San Antonio, when Loop 410 was the edge of town, I know how overwhelming it could be to face a giant insurance company all on your own. Just keep it simple. Call me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website at lawyerforus.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pockets. You can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Happy you're with us on this Wednesday, everybody. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is here as well.
The UTSA Roadrunners baseball team off to Los Angeles for the Super Regionals. They're now a Nike school. There's so much going on. Let's talk about it with the UTSA Athletic Director, Lisa Campos, joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Lisa, so many places we could start with. I guess let's start baseball and go into Los Angeles. I guess you get to go on that trip too, huh?
Hey, well, first, thanks so much for having me on. It is such an exciting time, and of course, I will be traveling with the team tomorrow.
Now, Lisa, in all honesty, when you look at this team at the beginning of the season, this is like what dreams are made of, right? I mean, the fact that they played as well as they did and are as far as they are.
Absolutely, and I would be remiss if, and I'm sure Pat has said it, is that, you know what, this didn't happen overnight, though. He's been here for a few years and has been building on this, and this is hard. You know, I say it, you know, with all of our sports. Winning a championship is hard. What we're doing now is hard, and so we're gonna embrace every minute of it, celebrate it. But this has been not just a 1 years of work; it's been many years of work.
You know, it really has. And one of the more impressive things is, seems like this program has been able to do more with less. There was an article in the Express News talking about other teams' baseball's budgets that are in the Super Regionals, and even when Pat Hallmark was on with us the other day, he said, yeah, you know, our stadium, we need some things. I mean, it's impressive, but then that brings up questions that we have for the athletic director. Will this win, this run, get more money, more dollars put into that baseball program?
Oh, my gosh. You know, this is a program that we've been investing in. Obviously, when we hired Coach Hallmark, we knew what a caliber coach he is, what he could do for the program. There were some things early in his years that he was wanting. You know, and remember, he came in during COVID, which was really tough. But there were some things that he wanted done to the field, the stands, the halo, the turf. So between softball and baseball, we've invested over $2 million both those facilities. Obviously, we need to do more. We talked about it, Pat and I, let's do something for the players. So, we have this player development area, our player development center that we've been pushing forward, and that's in the works. We've already been, in conversations with design and with the architects, so that's been really exciting. And, we're going to continue to move forward on that. And then just people love winners, right? And you could not believe over the last couple of weeks how much more interest we've been getting in baseball and how people want to invest. And, whether it's through facilities or through rev share, there's an appetite now. And we know this, that winning breeds winning, and people are really excited to get on board.
Lisa, I'm going to compliment you first of all because you've done a heck of a job hiring coaches. You've got some great talent out there, so congratulations on that. But obviously those great coaches are winning, and that brings up the other issue. And the reason we were talking to Coach Hallmark about this is because had UTSA had to host this super regional, well, you wouldn't have been able to do it, and it would have caused some other problems. So I guess that's where we're talking about. And look, UTSA is a big-time program now with in the sporting world, obviously.
Yeah, and there's some truth to that. Obviously, we would have been able to, 2 years ago or 3 years ago when we thought we were going to be in the regional, we immediately started working with Reed Ryan, with Randy Smith about hosting it at Wolf Stadium because that would be a great place. We've had tournaments there in the past. Notre Dame would have a big tournament there that we were in a few years ago. And that was an option again this year. We were in conversations again with Reed and with Randy about hosting it. The Missions were out of town last weekend, so it would have been possible. But, at the end of the day, Pat didn't think we were going to be in the top 16. He didn't think that was going to be worth our time and focusing on that. But we have incredible relationships with the Missions ownership, and that would have been a great place to have hosted a regional. But to your point, yes, on the UTSA campus, our facility isn't quite ready for that yet.
And again, this weekend for the Super Regional, because had UCLA lost, San Antonio could have hosted. The Missions are in town. I don't know what the plan there would have been, and I guess at this point it doesn't matter, but kind of knucklehead question, what would it take to get the UTSA baseball stadium up to an NCAA level where they could host an event like this?
Yeah, it's about capacity. We obviously need more seats in the stadium. Our playing surface is NCAA regulation. All of those things meet the requirements for NCAA. So it's really about seating capacity.
Lisa, I want to ask you, and athletic directing is a tough enough job, but you're a fundraiser as well. Am I right about that? You spend a lot of time asking folks for money.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's got to be difficult in itself. I mean, running a university athletic department is one thing, and then having to go out and raise money as well. It's got to be tough.
You know what? It's all about relationships, and we have built so many relationships, and it's just not me, right? It's our staff, it's our coaches. Our coaches are our number one fundraisers. People love interacting with our coaches. They love the success. They want to support it. And so at the end of the day, it is donors who care about UTSA Athletics. They care about sport programs. They care about this institution. They care about San Antonio, and they want to elevate it. And so when they have a passion for all of those things, then it's really not difficult. They want to give. What the difficult part is that we do have limited industries here sometimes. We have, although it's the seventh largest city, we're still young. We're a young institution, and as a matter of fact, many of our donors don't have an affiliation with UTSA, right? So that's always going to be a work in progress in terms of, the competing against a Texas who's 170 years old compared to UTSA that's 56 years old. But this community, day in and day out, are giving to UTSA Athletics. I saw a stat the other day that in the capital campaign, athletics is leading the charge. We've fundraised the most during this capital campaign, so it's a testament to the city that they are investing in UTSA Athletics.
Lisa Campos, UTSA Athletic Director, joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. We think about the baseball field. You said the surface is NCAA regs. We just need more capacity. And I don't know what it would take dollars-wise to put in enough bleacher seating or stadium seating to get to that level. But you also mentioned the player development deal that's in the works, and I've seen those drawings on social media. And there's the new practice facility for men's and women's basketball, but not a new basketball arena for the Convocation Center. How do you decide we need to invest in practice facilities versus game arenas? Because, you know, we've all been complaining about the convention center since the 90s.
Yeah, you know, the Convocation Center, we started with race, right? And it was about, well, let's back up a little bit. When I got here 7 years ago, there was not one facility that was really Division I quality. So we are starting from scratch. We had to build every facility essentially, and we started with race, and that's, you know, ask any athletic organization who's come through here. So impressed of how we did it right, and that's one thing. If we're going to do it, we know this building's going to be here for a long time. We want to do it the right way, and so this really became the hub of the UTSA Athletics. Of course, we've had other projects that we've done. Obviously, the practice facility for basketball and volleyball, and then our next focus is softball, baseball. Like every facility, we have to make it Division I caliber. And again, it's donor intent. There's a lot of interest with race because it was helping all student athletes. Every student athlete has access to this building. They use the weight room, the training room, the academic room. And then there was a strong interest in basketball, and our coaches and volleyball, and our coaches really needed somewhere to practice because the Convocation Center, between 4 sport programs with cheer, the band, the dance, university events, like that was a place that is just saturated, time limited, and we need to do something for those programs.
Lisa, let me ask you about the whole revenue share thing. To my knowledge, we haven't gotten a decision from the judge. Am I correct?
Right. We're still waiting.
It's still waiting. So, are you guys moving forward with the plan, assuming it will pass, or how do you handle that?
Absolutely, yes. We can't sit on our heels waiting for this. You know, we have to make the assumption, and I think there's a great likelihood that it's going to pass. Like, there hasn't been any indication that it's not. I think it's taking longer than what was expected. So we are moving forward as if it is going to pass, and, you know, it may pass, you know, the effective date might change, but we have to move forward. And as I think, I don't know if it was on your show or another show, like, these are things that we've been talking about for over a year and how we're going to accomplish this. And the sports, including baseball, that we prioritize to give NIL and rev share dollars to. So it's something that we're continuing to drive and prepare for.
Lisa Campos, UTSA Athletic Director here on the Blitz. And you talk about NIL and rev share, and you guys are keeping both the NIL arm. A lot of schools have kind of moving forward, same kind of idea that you're going for, expecting it to pass. This is what we're going to do, because especially like, say, with football, it won't be long. We're less than 100 days before the start of the season. All those players that are, I guess, going to start summer workouts, they have their deals in place, right? They just have to, we're just waiting on the judge. How does all that work?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just waiting for that final approval of the settlement and the effective date to the date to be put into effect, and we're ready to move forward with it.
Yeah, Lisa, a question for you, because typically, and Jason and I, you know, knowing what universities do, and in big universities, the football programs generally pay for most of the other sports. I'm assuming that's the same at UTSA, but I'm wondering, how do you guys judge that and do that? I mean, are there some sports that pay for themselves, or does it all come from somewhere else, say football, for example?
Yeah, we have so many, you know, different revenue streams, but obviously football is the engine, right? And that's where you have to invest. And it's not necessarily always just the hard dollars either. You think about the national TV exposure, you think about the CFP playoff, you think about sponsorships. I mean, there's just the most eyeballs are on football, so that's where you're going to generate the most revenue. And so I think every 130 FBS programs know that you have to have a successful football program that then helps all the other programs be successful. So it's not necessarily always about the hard dollar. It's about the visibility, the branding, the sponsorships, the TV packages. It's all of those things combined.
Lisa Campos joining us here on the Blitz 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. You think about all the fundraising, whether it's for facilities, now with Rev Share, all the stuff that you normally do. And so many people think universities just have this, unlimited money coming in. And there are programs like you bring up, or I bring up, like Texas or Texas A&M, or, Joey McGuire said the other day on this show, watch Landman, that oil money is real. But then I read about the University of Oklahoma that had to cut 15% of their athletic department, or 5% of their athletic department, about 15 people, to be able to have the money to do this rev share. And if that's happening at a place like OU, how do you manage the money coming in versus the money going out? Who's going to players or the employees? How difficult has it been for your athletic department?
Yeah, you know what? And Oklahoma's not the only one, right? I think they might have been the only bowl ones to really talk about it. But from the a year ago, a lot of these P4 schools were talking about, where are we going to find this money? They were looking at reductions, and we've talked about that with our coaches. It's a reallocation, right? We reallocate our priorities. Priorities can change all the time. You look at for Pat last year, when we were talking about us investing in rev share for him, his priority was scholarships. Even over the last 6 months, he's like, you know what, scholarships, I don't know if that's what the right priority is anymore. It might actually be the true just rev share. And so priorities change all the time, and that's what we have to look at. I would say that, our budgets don't have a lot of fat on them, so there's not a lot to really cut. So we got to continue to grow it.
Lisa, I'm curious, how often do you have conversations with your coaches? I mean, Jeff Traylor, Coach Hallmark, the women's coaches. Do they come to you quite a bit and say, we really can get this player if we had this? Or how often does that kind of stuff take place?
Yeah, you know what? For the basketball, football, baseball, we meet every week right now. We're meeting every week on Rev Share NIL, or every 2 weeks. We have a standing meeting with all the people around the room talking about it, because that's how important it is to us. And the other coaches, I meet regularly with them, and we talk about not just rev share, but we talk, again, for tennis 6 months ago, rev share wasn't a thing. Those student athletes weren't even thinking about NIL. His priorities were something else. On the women's side, I just spoke with him about 3 weeks ago, and guess what? NIL's creeping into women's tennis, and now we're having conversations about that. So it's ever-changing. We got to continue evolving, but to your point, we have to have open communication with our coaches and understand what is really important to the program right now to be successful.
Lisa Campos here on the Blitz, and about to head to L.A. with the baseball team as they're in the Super Regionals. And, it's interesting what we talked about the other day with Pat Hallmark, and, he was pretty open about the need of stuff and fixing up that stadium. Is it a possibility, or what would the likelihood be of a possibility when the Missions get into their new stadium that's in the process, that UTSA takes over Wolf Stadium? Is that an option?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty difficult. We love to be on campus. I think that was Pat's point about not even wanting to play at Wolf Stadium for a regional, because he wants to stay on campus. So I think given our schedule, it'd be really difficult. But again, we're having conversations with Reed and with others that, for marquee games, when their new stadium comes about, having some partnerships there. But we love our campus, being on campus. It's a great location. So again, just continued upgrades as we can.
Lisa, that brings up a good point with the improvements to the baseball field there on campus. Are you landlocked to some extent to try and do something that you need to do as far as the stands and that kind of thing, or is there room?
No, there's room. We've had architects come out and give us some schematic designs, and there's room. There's definitely room to expand.
All right, Lisa, before we let you go, I got to know how superstitious you are. Are you a superstitious athletic director?
I don't want to claim that, but in the moment, whenever we took our lead against Texas, I happened to be not sitting in the seat I was originally sitting in, and all of a sudden we got the lead, and I couldn't move. I had to stay in that seat because we had gotten the lead. So I don't like to claim that, but apparently in the moment, I guess I do get a little superstitious.
So as you pack for Los Angeles, is all your gear the new Nike gear, or are you staying with Adidas since the team will stay with Adidas through the end of the season, which hopefully ends in Omaha? So are you wearing all the new Nike swag this weekend or the old stuff?
I have not even thought about packing yet, so it'll be a game time decision on what gets put in that suitcase.
Way to not answer a question.
That's perfect.
By the way, the new Nike stuff looks incredible.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Congratulations on that. That's fantastic. That little rabbit's foot that you have there, be sure and take that, though, will you?
For sure. Absolutely.
Good stuff. Lisa Campos, Dr. Lisa Campos, always appreciate you taking the time. Have fun in Los Angeles and then on to Omaha.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. Lisa Campos, Director of Athletics there at UTSA on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com.
Good answers. I mean, look, she's got a tough job. She does, but it's a job that she signed up for, and she's got to take care of it. So that's the way that goes. I tell you, it's got to be a fun job, too, I would think. I would think so. Hey, Matt Roy is going to join us from News 4 San Antonio. He's been at that city council meeting all afternoon. He's going to join us in about 10 minutes or so to try and explain what he heard today, because we certainly can't figure it out. So we'll hear from Matt Roy when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Kinetico Quality Water Softeners. I've been talking about it for a long time now. I love the one that's in my house. It is just a game changer. And if you've listened to the show at any time at all, you know that I was a skeptic. I was thinking there's no way this thing can be any better than anything else I've ever had. Well, let me tell you something. It is head and shoulders better than anything else I've ever had. You can tell the difference from the old water softener that I have to the new Kinetico Quality Water Softener. It's like night and day. It is incredible. Kinetico is the most popular water softener on the market, and they've been serving San Antonio and the Hill Country for over 50 years. All their products are made right here in America, and what I love about it is you don't plug it in. Doesn't run on electricity. I don't know how it works, but it works. It provides soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is outstanding. They've got an outstanding warranty as well, but I've never had one problem with my Kinetico Quality Water Softener. And right now, for a limited time, you get a free reverse osmosis drinking station that they will install right there at your kitchen sink. It's like bottled water right there at your kitchen sink. You just turn it on and fill up a glass. $400 trade in of your old water softener. Plus, they're going to give you some free money. How about 0% interest for 12 months? That's right, 0% interest for 12 months. You don't want to wait. You don't want this offer to go away before you get involved. Call Kinetico of San Antonio and the Hill Country. The numbers to call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at KineticoSA.com. And you know the jingle, sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Kinetico.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Thursday on the Morning Huddle, we got a small Friday, and it is packed for you. How about NBA Finals Game 1? Did the Thunder blow them out of the water? And we get to talk about Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final as well. Hockey at its peak. Morning Huddle, don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean Concession access just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
School's out, summer's in, and that vacation countdown is officially on. But what about your four-legged MVP? Bluebonnet Pumpkin Biscuit in Selma has your furry family member covered. Daycare, boarding, grooming, and training, they've got it all. They're built for your pet's health, happiness, and tail-wagging good times. If you're in the military, your teacher, or your first responder, they've got barking good exclusive discounts. So go ahead, book that trip, hit the beach, crush your summer plans. Bluebonnet Pumpkin Biscuit has your pet in good hands. Because home away from home isn't just for humans. Bluebonnet Pumpkin Biscuits in Selma.
Looking for a place with character, cold drinks, and real Texas charm? Pull up a chair at the Lion and Rose in the Dominion. This local favorite, run by the Tharp family, serves up Southern hospitality, military pride, and seriously good food. Happy hour daily from 3 till 7 p.m. with $2.50 drafts, select wine, wells, and mimosas. Plus, tasty bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Now open at 23330 West I-10. The Lion and Rose.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates. Divorce is tough, but it's up to you to take control and avoid your spouse from dictating the terms. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about securing your assets, safeguarding what you've worked hard for, and avoiding unnecessary losses. Visit TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
The Lion and Rose. Your daily happy hour spot from 3 till 7 p.m. $2.50 drafts, wine, wells, and bites from just $5. Big screens, bold flavors, and a patio made for post-game hangs. Lion and Rose at 23330 West I-10.
Well, this guy probably feels like he's been punished all day long.
He has.
My goodness, city council meeting all day long.
I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, come on, dude. Your brain must be mush. Matt Roy from News 4 joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line here on the Blitz. A Project Marvel meeting that, quite frankly, based on some of the tweets I saw, I don't have the answers that I want. What did you learn today?
I learned that council meetings aren't as bad as some of Minix's stories. But I learned what...
Generally, alcohol is making your mind mush if those are involved.
That's fair. I learned that the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for the infrastructure part of this, which they've said all along, but we kind of got a number on that today. Taxpayers, if everything goes according to plan for the city, taxpayers this November will have the opportunity to vote on 2 things. One will be a city bond, which comes from general revenue, I believe, which for $220 to $250 million, and that will all fund the infrastructure part of this. So that'll be the on-ramps, off-ramps from I-37 by Alamo Dome and some different streets and whatnot that go around there. The other thing they'll be able to vote on is the venue tax, which we talked about last week. So that was the main component of what we learned today. The other funding examples and how the arena is going to get funded, we still don't know exactly who's going to kick in what amount of money.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise that Jason and I were looking at as we were trying to follow this thing along and do the show at the same time. But forgive my ignorance, Matt, but when we vote on a bond and it's passed, what are taxpayers on the hook for? What happens?
Well, taxpayers are going to pay for infrastructure no matter what. We just got done talking to the mayor, and I asked him, like, you guys are putting a lot of hope in these bonds and in the venue tax and in voters and whatnot. And there's not really multiple times today they couldn't answer the question, what happens if these bonds fail? And so this money is going to go towards infrastructure, whether it's downtown or whether it's on the east side, whether it's at Stone Oak, wherever it is, it's going to go towards infrastructure. But the voters are going to get the opportunity to vote on this big project, like basically allowing the city to use $220 to $250 million on infrastructure for downtown.
Matt Roy from News 4 joining us here on the Blitz. He has spent his Wednesday in City Council chambers where they released information on Project Marvel. And the one answer that I think all of us wanted to know, there's a price tag of between 1.3 and 1.5 billion that's going to be split between the city, the county, and the Spurs. But we don't yet know who's responsible for what. But taxpayers apparently, at least right now, is only responsible for about $250 million in bond for infrastructure. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, and that's for the entirety of this project is $4 billion.
Yeah.
Like that's the convention center, that's the hotel, that's everything included. So the part right now that we understand will be on taxpayers, on city taxpayers, is $220 to $250 million. The rest, there was a lot of frustration though today, especially from the council, about like not knowing the specifics yet. And they're supposed to have these community meetings next month, where they're going to have one community meeting in every council district, and they don't have specifics to tell their constituents yet. How much money are the Spurs kicking in? Don't know. How much money is the venue tax for the county going to kick in? Don't know. We have an estimation. We don't have any concrete numbers yet, and so everyone's kind of frustrated at that point.
Yeah, well, I can imagine so. We were frustrated not seeing the answers to that as well. Now, I've got to ask you a question, and I know this is a city manager-driven project. I get that, but why did they hold this meeting today and not, I don't know, say next week after the election?
Because this is just when they have their B sessions. Their B session is Wednesday. Their A session is Thursday.
Okay.
So this was ready to be talked about, and so they gave their presentation. But that's really the $1 million question as well, or the other $1 million question besides the first one, is how is a different council and a different mayor going to see these projects? Because Eric Walsh said today, we have not briefed either of the mayoral candidates on this project. So we don't know if they're even going to want it or if they are.
Yeah, it is so interesting and frustrating. So help me out here, because I know you tweeted that RC was in the building today. Was this a presentation by Eric Walsh, the city manager? And the way you just described it, like the city council members hadn't been briefed on this or seen this before. It was all new to them, so they were loaded with questions. Who put on today's presentation?
It was the city. It was by the city manager and the assistant city manager, Lori Houston, and that whole team. So I believe they had all been usually how these things work is the council members will receive the presentation and a briefing before the council meeting. So maybe like yesterday or the day before. I don't exactly know when. But they're not usually surprised by most of the information. This is their time to be able to ask questions because legally you need to do it in a public forum.
Gotcha. And I heard from a guy today who's kind of plugged in there, but I don't know the answer to this, that after the election, the Spurs will start some sort of a PR campaign. Have you heard anything like that?
I mean, you would have to think that they would. I reached out to the Spurs today to get a statement from them because I believe Tom James was here and RC was here. And, of course, they said we don't have a comment on that. So very Spursian.
Yes.
Well, I'm curious. Did you get a chance to interview the mayor or anybody after the long meeting today?
We did speak with the mayor.
Did he answer anything more specifically?
They don't have specifics, and we had a pre.
How do they not have specifics at this point that they want to share with the public?
So, from my understanding, the frustration comes from the city as well. The city is also frustrated that they don't have specifics, but this is all allegedly the holdup is on the developer because the Spurs are the ones that are working on finding the developer, and the Spurs are really going to be the ones that are building this arena. And so all of the money that they're saying is going to pay for the arena is future money. All the money that's going to pay for the arena is revenue that will be made from the development. So, yeah, listen to 3 hours of that and tell me you don't want to walk into the other thing.
I'm just curious. So there's not really a Cliff's Notes version, or it was a 3-hour meeting that you didn't really know anything. This could have been an email. I mean, the presentation, and good Lord, man, we were trying to watch the live stream, so we saw a lot of those pages of that 45-page presentation. They could have emailed that with a note that said, "Here's what you need to know, but what you need to know isn't really in here."
Yeah, so if I could summarize it in less than a minute, the funding structure is going to be a 5-pronged thing, and everyone is going to be kind of contributing to it. It's going to be venue, venue tax from the county, it's going to be city, and it's going to be some sort of money that's kicked in by the Spurs, and then they're going to fund it through future revenue made by the developments around the arena and around the Alamo Dome. Second thing would be that everybody in San Antonio should know that there's going to be community meetings in July. Each district is going to hold a community meeting. If you don't want this project, go there and tell them you don't want the project, because then they can relay that to the rest of the council. Thirdly, there will be things to vote on this November. This November election is very important to the future of San Antonio, whether it's venue tax, whether it's a housing bond, whether it's the bond for the infrastructure. People in San Antonio are going to have their say, whether it's at the ballot box or at those community meetings.
Interesting. I tell you what. Well, I'm glad you were there, Matt, and I'm glad I wasn't.
Yes.
And we appreciate you sharing what you learned today.
I don't know. What did you learn?
Well, I'm not sure either. But
what we did learn, they didn't bring up at all using any kind of property tax for this, right?
No property tax.
Perfect. Good. All right.
Well, that helps for sure.
Ballot in November.
Yeah, no doubt.
You got 10 minutes to write a script for your 6 o'clock news. Appreciate you jumping on with us, Matt.
That's been written. Tune in News 4. I got it all for you at 10 o'clock.
Do you have anything more on TV than what you just gave us?
You're going to have to tune in at 6 to find out.
It's a well-placed tease, my friend.
Very nice.
Yeah, from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State. That's how you tease.
Baby.
Yep. Thanks, Matt.
See you guys later.
Matt Roy from News 4 on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com.
You know, I just am baffled by the Spurs. They baffle me. They really do. Now, and maybe they don't know the answers or have, but they've got to know, right? I mean, that's just stupid to say. I just think that why are those numbers not out there? And I would get them out there and say, look, we're putting in X, and they're putting in X, and all we're asking for you to do is to vote on this amount of the pie. Everything else is going to be covered.
If the city council is questioned or has questions and confused at this point, now maybe Matt Roy's 100% correct. The Spurs might not have that answer because they're waiting on the developer. But you would think when they had those drawings, they had pretty good ideas. I don't know why they want to keep this secretive, but it's what the Spurs do. And we also know the Spurs are going to get what they want because they're the Spurs, and they always do. And if they're not getting what they want, we know what the threats are going to be. Happens in every city every time something like this happens. You know, all right, cool, Spurs are going to kick in some money. All right, how much? How much? Now, based on this meeting today, infrastructure and a bond. All right, that probably passes pretty easily. A lot of bonds, especially infrastructure, do, and that could be used anywhere in the city for anything. So those things generally pass. If it were a property tax kind of issue, that's when you know you have the big fight. But all those other taxes that apparently don't really affect us, is there enough money to come up with $4 billion on those things?
Yeah, I think there is. And again, I still have questions about what the city council passed, 2-3 weeks ago. I thought that was the arena, at least, portion of it was a done deal. And now Matt claims that we're going to have to vote on that as well. So, look, there's a big fight between now and November. And I say fight. There's a lot of educating that needs to be done between now and then. It needs to start immediately. And I hope my friend, that a guy I talked to this morning who has some friends on city council, was correct. that the Spurs are going to start educating us after the election this weekend. I hope he's correct about that, because if he's not and they don't, then I think they're going to be in for a fight just because people are untrustworthy. A lot of people are. Guys like you and me, Jason, we're all in. All right, we'll do because we want it and we want it to happen. But there are people out there, and you know this, that are going to be just dead set against it because it's these billionaire sports owners that aren't buying their deal themselves.
Now, again, the arena portion of it, I'm with you. Everything else, convention center, that's all for the city, and all that makes money as the overall project Marvel is there. And you're right, I call them cave people, civilians against virtually everything. And there's a lot of those people. I'm thinking about Project Marvel in our weekend in Arlington. Went to a baseball game. Jerry World is right across the street, and right there is this incredible bar scene. They got one in Philly. They got one in Kansas City. They got one everywhere you go now. Yep. There's that. You don't have that at all in San Antonio, and there's nowhere near the Frost Bank Center to do anything like that, and that building is outdated. Look at what's happening in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is so far ahead of the curve, and where they built their arena originally, and then they turned into Bricktown, and they copied San Antonio and have their pathetic version of the Riverwalk.
It is pathetic.
And you know what they're already planning on? The new arena in Oklahoma City. They just seem so much forward-thinking than us here in San Antonio with a plan.
Well, it helps when your team's playing in the NBA Finals, too.
Yeah, but those plans have been in place when they were trusting the process.
Sure.
and getting there. But again, I'm with you. And Spurs have a good offseason. And November comes around and they're playing good basketball. It's a lot easier to get a yes vote when you're winning.
So that's why you want Kevin Durant, just to get people excited.
I want somebody that can knock down threes on a consistent basis.
Well, I would like to see that person too. And there are other people out there besides Kevin Durant. There are. Believe it or not, other people can make threes.
Well, they don't wear silver and black uniforms.
No, they don't. That is factual, my friend. That is completely factual. Because not consistently, anyway. That's for sure. And somebody that can play defense too would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, a lot more on this whole Project Marvel thing and the arena thing. Obviously, it's going to be a big topic of conversation. And stay tuned to see what happens this weekend. Because I'll be honest with you, and we've had both candidates on. There's one person that is more for this than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just them. There will be some new city council people as well. And you heard Matt Roy, if you listen to his interview, we don't know if they're going to be for it or against it.
It's going to be interesting, although this is Eric Walsh driven. And you think about the election turnout, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm paraphrasing an April Lancira post from earlier today that 98,000 people voted in early voting.
Yeah, that's
Are
sad.
they going to make room for the other million on Saturday?
Well, I hope
voter turnout's pathetic.
Well, I hope it is 1 million, right? I mean, that would be nice, and I think
I'd be surprised if another 100,000 showed up on Saturday.
It's sad because these kinds of elections, and that's why you get some people in there that you don't want in there. That's always a problem, no doubt. So if you can vote, go out and vote this Saturday, all right, for whoever you want to vote for. Just go get it done and make sure that they support this arena.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Game one of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Joe won't be watching, but I will.
I won't be watching it, but that's okay. I'll be watching little girls' World Series action. How about that? That ought to be a lot of fun. Texas versus Texas Tech. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
This is The Blitz with Jason and Joe.